Yes, so
we are in the season.
we not go church, but we did here.
Yeah, we have to do this.
We have to
for
do
the
this.
nation.
Mr. Elvis,
Yes.
this is what democratic dispensation in the whole, democratic processes in Nigeria. I'm asking you.
Yeah, it is.
What I'm trying to ask is, in all the democratic dispensations we have, or administration, right from Nnamdi Azikiwe, if we want to look at that particular reel from there, how would you categorize, or would I say summarize, the election process yesterday? Remember that by now there's a level we ought to have gotten when it comes to our election proceedings, election behavior, election mannerism, right? Yeah. And the bimodal voter registration system was something that was meant to create a different face, a modification to the process or the usual that when it comes to, going through elections. What is your summary of yesterday?
My summary is difficult because I'll see it as mixed feelings.
Okay.
Yeah, because if our founding fathers were alive, one, they would have said we are not learning. Because by now people have expected that we are much more mature than this. But it's like we're even going backward because the only thing that has brought in a little bit of difference is the technology that we saw yesterday. Yes, that's the BVAS. But in terms of our behavior, our character, acceptability, and every other thing, we've not learned anything. So our founding father will have been disappointed that by now we will have forged much more a nuclear bind as a nation than what they are seeing. People running coming into the polling booth where everybody was so happy. Yes, Nigerians were happy. Then you are going to cut away the ballot box, tear the ballot paper and all that. They will still look at it. Why this time? By this time, they would have expected that we would have been much more mature. When you give birth to a child, there is a level to tolerate that child to a certain level. As soon as that child is an adult, you're not supposed to do this. You just reprimand him. I think by now they would have been reprimanding us. This is not the level they would have expected from more at this particular time. But unfortunately, here we are much more divided now. Ethnically, much more divided, religiously, much more divided in whatever form. Even at the polling booth yesterday, we are still here seeing some videos saying if you are from so place, from so tribe, don't just bother to come here. Don't come here and vote. Imagine such things.
I saw that yesterday to monitor the election process and how things were going to run from there. And we actually saw that particular video where they actually said somebody was saying there were speculations it was about one individual, but somebody was saying that anybody here, you're not voting for APC, you get out of this polling unit. So what do you think that how informed, supposedly, and the electoral education that we'll be able to get, you understand, at this level of our democratic dispensation, that we will not be experiencing such things at majority of our polling units.
I would have lived beyond that.
Now, we now have situation rooms being put together by most of these political parties, and even we as journalists, we also have our own situation rooms. INEC is to come on live by 12 noon, and we are expectant of that to actually hear what Mahmoud Yakub has to say. Now, yesterday, some INEC officials did not arrive at the polling unit on time. In fact, beyond that, I could see, the early feeling when people started trickling into the polling units, when they realized that the INEC officials had not arrived, they decided to start writing down their names themselves. Yes. So they were coordinating themselves. So when INEC officials come, they were just immediately moving. Now, these INEC officials complained that they did not have logistics to, transport them and the materials to most of their various polling units. That was the excuse they gave for them arriving late at some of these polling units. Now, let's put that excuse aside. Hopefully, eventually, elections started up. But the fracas that broke out at this level where we had snatching of ballot boxes, burning on some coca aguda. Mr. Elvis.
It was very shameful. I saw Nigerians ready for a change. Yes, like a child that is crying, is asking for the mother, I need to be breastfed. That was what I saw in Nigerians yesterday. I was so proud of Nigerians because as early as 8 a.m. 7:45, I was already in first time. I was an observer. Yes. I was already where I observed. I saw Nigeria when they got to their polling booth, they started giving themselves numbers. Orderly. They were taking numbers and they were writing it up. I mean,
that was historical.
The Nigerians conducted themselves so maturely.
The comportment was what I enjoyed. Yesterday morning, we witnessed that in some of the polling units. These individuals were peaceful. They really wanted to, go about their to actually go about their civic rights. They sat in areas where they were queuing and the queue space for line wasn't enough. They went to sit down in some areas. They probably coordinated themselves so that they can ensure that they go about setting up their mandate.
Yes.
One would actually say that if we needed to look at how that particular scenario occurred from that morning, then the after effects or the offshoot of the stuff that we realize later in the day. Can you marry that?
No. The two of them have coherency. We saw Nigeria that are yearning for a change. That are yearning actually that we need this. But we now saw some disgruntled elements coming later in the day. But Esther, let me tell you, when I got to where some of the polling booths are outside, I saw people who are Nigerians that are not feeling fine. Let me use that word, because some of them, their situation was really bad. But their children drove them to the polling units. And they gave them chairs to sit down. They were waiting patiently. And one thing I saw yesterday, I saw Nigerians very patient. They were waiting for their INEC staff to come with the materials. When these people arrived, I even saw Nigerians assisting the INEC staff to arrange things. Having conducted themselves before their arrival, they were assisting them to get things arranged so that accreditation can take off immediately. Then I saw people coming in with walking sticks. You know, these are great grandfathers and grandfathers. Ideally, they don't really have much. They would have said, maybe I'm closer to where I'm going. But they want to build a nation down for their children and their grandchildren. I was amazed. I was like, no, let's this disgruntled element that later came in towards the end of the day, not even dream anything of this teacher. But surprisingly, we saw some areas that I don't know why the security has to come down for them to have such opportunity, to come. I saw a lot of security. In fact, yesterday between Okota Junction down to Apple Junction, if you see the massive security setup, I got to Apple Junction. They said I should park. I should trek to Festa. I said, how do I? I'm not just going to Festa to vote. I'm going to observe polling units. How do I trek around Festa? But I don't have to argue with the military guys. I said, okay, can you direct me to your commander?
All right. We have in the studio. Okay, he just arrived. Thank you so much for coming in. We do know that it's not easy. We have Mr. Shegun Shopito, who is the chairman of Accountability Candor and Transparency Network. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Voice of the People Studio. And we are talking about Nigeria Decide post-election. Although we still expect more results. The results are being collated by 12 o'clock. We're going to hear from the INEC chair. But we're trying to critique all that transpired yesterday and culminating, of course, up to this morning. Now, Sarah has actually written to the United States saying that they should ban all visas of most of these elites who actually participated in these elections. They should ban their visas because they feel the next thing they will do now is to start flying out of the country. Do you think that will in any way abate what has already transpired?
Of course not. I always say that crying out to the international community to help us fix our local problems is really not a solution. We have to fix our problems. Nobody's going to solve Nigeria's problems for Nigerians. We will have to do it by ourselves. So calling for their visas to be cancelled won't do nothing because, for goodness sake, they can drive across the border to Benin Republic and Ghana. Who's going to stop them from doing that? So that's neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. I think what is important is for us to continue to remain vigilant and make it clear to anybody that cares to listen that we are watching. And when I say we, I mean members of the public, I mean civil society, there's a situation room that, is following and monitoring events.
Yes.
And, we can compare what the reports that are coming in from the field with what INEC will eventually release. So I think that's far more important. I think Nigerians just need to show and insist that the will of the people must be respected, and the results of these elections must reflect what the majority of Nigerians desire to see. By the same token, I also want to put in a word of caution. A lot of results are flying around.
Exactly. That's why we're not mentioning anything yet.
I think we've got to be careful.
We're waiting for INEC by 12 o'clock to say what he needs to say, because the results we are seeing, the disparity is something else.
Yeah.
So let's just, cool temper. Let's be patient. You know, the security shouldn't be off now.
No.
Because
That's even where I'm not too comfortable now. Esther, we're in this studio. I told you I'm not seeing much of violence pre and during. I'm seeing much of violence post. Especially when results start trickling in and it's not favoring some people, some groups. I reminded Nigerians about the Bauchi out of coppers. It was during the results of 2011 when the result was coming in, those coppers were killed. So I think we need more security on ground now. If not for another, let them begin to show strength.
For the next 1 week.
Yeah, and that security, I think, needs to be very, very strong at the collation centers in particular. The streets, on the streets along. I think the vicinities of the collation, a lot of things are going on. There is clearly an attempt by
yesterday
people to,
at Adamawa.
Yeah.
INEC officials were collating results in the dark. They were using their phone touch to collate nobody even knows what they are collating.
Absolutely.
Most of the residents
actually there.
Yes, no, of course, party agents will be there. But the thing is, in that it was really dark.
But I also saw a video where INEC officials told them that the BVAS battery has gone flat. Somebody went and put it in there and said, please
charge yourself.
I mean, these are
during the countdown, we talked about a scenario where that actually happens. INEC said the BVAS can run for
24 hours.
If fully charged. So meaning that the BVAS also have been properly charged before elections did not take 24 hours. So you have instances where the BVAS running flat.
I had an explanation from an INEC official on TV.
Okay.
Saying, and I have to agree with him. The BVAS device is just like a phone. There's no video. So if sometimes you buy a phone and you discover that it's fully charged within 1 hour and it's fully discharged within 2 hours, instead of the 24 hours or 48 hours that's was promised. So I would not do too much of that, except if there's a consistent pattern to that. So that could be an isolated incident and can let it be. The one that I think is concerning and that has come out consistently from several things, so it's a pattern. Is this issue of password being forgotten? Is this issue of codes being the transmission of the source? So there's a pattern and a failure of upload from the BVAS to the server.
Now, do you
So we really, I think we just need to continue to put it out there that we're watching and we're seeing these things.
If the password is so difficult, why don't you write it somewhere? When it gets to that level,
especially in Lagos, people were calling the INEC Resident Electoral Commission of Lagos at Oga, explain what is happening. Some persons went to the polling unit. Their names are on the paper, on that particular polling unit, but they go and INEC says your profile is absent. It's not the system. So the question is that despite the preparation, INEC said they were prepared. In as much as they said they wanted cash, they didn't want to transfer, they wanted cash. Okay, fine. But it means you told Nigerians that you were ready to conduct these elections beyond areas that your facilities were attacked. What happened? We're not supposed to hear issues from INEC, maybe from the people who went to vote and possibly the after effect of thugs, making things. But from INEC, how will people trust the credibility of the results? We're already hearing people calling for the cancellation of this results. PFN is calling, some presidential campaign council spokespersons from some political parties are calling and saying this election should be cancelled. That there's a hand of INEC in frustrating some effort. Why would there be no vote? Why was there a plan?
I think by the time we hear from Professor Mahmoud this afternoon, and I know too well that our colleagues, journalists that are going to be in that briefing, I already found some of these things we're already discussing here, and we're going to, and some of those questions are going to be posed before me, and we're going to hear some of his explanation to some of these things, because I saw coppers. I went to the rack where they gather overnight, at the solo for the distribution in the morning. I saw coppers with their masks and their pillow, slept open field. What is a way to show loyalty to your country? What is a way to be patriotic? I asked them, they just sleep here, they said, yes, overnight. So, what was not the problem between the rack centers to the pulling unit? What was the problem that now sometimes there were some of areas yesterday 11:30 materials have not arrived? What was not the problem? So all these are some of the questions we are going. So many questions, but we pray that INEC is armed enough to begin to give Nigeria, answers that will assuage what we are already envisaging.
All right, if you're currently listening to us right here on 90.3 FM, we're streaming live on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, type a Voice of the People 90.3 FM, and of course you can still stream me live. Subscribe. That is the only way you can get notified when any of our programs are currently on, and we actually stream almost 24 hours. So once you subscribe, 24 hours we're giving you the content that you desire. Also, you can send us WhatsApp messages on 0700 903 9039 0700 903 9039. Today there was some confusion that possibly if some polling units that were kind of, would I say, maligned in terms of the thoroughfare activities that took place, that there may be no movement today. Some persons were afraid to move because they didn't understand how the situation in the state was going to be like. But at this stage of our democratic dispensation, I'm back to it again. Should Nigerians be afraid after they've gone out to cast, their votes, do their civic duty?
It's because of some of the issues we saw yesterday. That's what is leading to all this. And I just pray that by the time we get further, people will begin to realize that a day like yesterday is supposed to be a day of jubilation.
Mr. Sheikh, do you think the political parties, their candidates, the presidential candidates, the senatorial candidates for the constituency contributed to this behavior we saw yesterday?
I think that maybe by omission, even if it's not by commission, I think some of them may be complicit. The violence that we've seen, and we've also seen what the pattern is. And I won't mince words about this. It would appear as though there was a very deliberate, orchestrated scheme to attack the stronghold of one of the contenders. I don't want to be fight people, at this point, but that pattern was clear. And I think that, if you see that type of thing, there is no way that you're going to hold the potential beneficiary of activity.
Like the senatorial, whatever, the party wasn't represented.
Yeah, exactly. So you see something like that. INEC has come up with a response which I know from some information I have access to not to be true. There's a court ruling that has instructed INEC to list the candidates of that party on the ballot, and INEC refused. So there's a lot of things going on with this election. It's just very unfortunate. On the other hand, I do not envy Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, because he's got the most difficult job in Nigeria right now. I mean, he's on a hotter seat than even the president is. Yeah. And he was very, very categorical in the run-up to the elections. They had done a lot of training, they had done logistics, they had redundancy plans, they had backup plans for failing devices and all that. And yet the elections have come, and it's almost like there's a lot of chaos and confusion with the use of BVAS. This is very key, because I went on air on all platforms that I have access to convince Nigerians that, with the introduction of BVAS and IREV, this is going to be the most credible election. It's shocking to see what we're now seeing. So obviously some people have been very deliberate in subverting the process. And I think that they have compromised INEC staff. Let's not forget that a lot of INEC, the staff that INEC is relying on, they are ad hoc. They were recruited in the last 4 months. Many, if not most of them, have their allegiances. So it's not impossible during the process of recruiting this ad hoc staff for certain parties to flood certain areas with their loyalists. So Mahmoud Yakubu really has his work cut out for him. I don't know what he's going to do about this, especially, I think for me, the biggest concern is the failure of what, because that was supposed to be the game changer.
Exactly.
The upload of voter accreditation figures and the results. I checked the IRS portal as at about 9 p.m. last night. Not one single result.
Why?
I checked this morning, and we now have about 21,000 out of 176,000 polling units have now been uploaded. That is still that's ridiculously low.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. That's like just about 20% if my math is not failing.
Compared to the number of accredited voters,
yes,
and those that actually did not vote, and those that actually voted.
I'm also talking of the polling unit. So if you check the IRS portal, it will give you an update results of the
yes.
Right. So right now, as of this morning, I haven't checked again. I'll check again now. It was 21,001 polling units out of 176,000 that had been uploaded. As at this time, that is terrible. That is abysmal. INEC has some serious explaining to do. Otherwise, the entire outcome might very, very well be called into question.
I'm telling you, it's already happening.
Danger.
It's already happening. They are calling for it already.
Last night, about 10 o'clock yesterday night, I was saying in the news that Yaga Africa was already calling on INEC that what is delaying the upload of this result into the BVAS. Yes. So and INEC told us that they went as below to the extent of just 2G. So that we don't tell us that it was network problem. And remember, Nigeria is talking about 5G now. Yeah. So 2G is supposed to function everywhere. But I don't know what happened. There was just a kind of seizure immediately after the casting of vote and counting of the result in the respective various polling units. There was a kind of seizure. There was like everybody was disconnected. Instead of you to begin to upload this result, there was like, we are stopping this. But Nigerians were waiting at the IRF to begin to see what is coming in. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 p.m., nothing was coming in. So I think INEC will still tell. Anyway, like we said, we are waiting for Mahmoud this afternoon. And some of these things will play out.
Okay, so let's look at a scenario where we have underage voting taking place yesterday. We saw underage persons with their PVC on queue to cast their votes. I mean, it was anyway. Some persons will say they're used to it, that in that region it's normal. But at this stage, if that was identified and then the INEC officials actually allowed such voting processes to take place, does it not actually buttress what you just said about the fact that they've been compromised?
There's the issue of compromise. There's also the issue of safety. So even if you have not been compromised, if you go to a certain community and everybody in that community is determined to do the wrong thing, my advice is for the INEC official to just spare his life. Because as the school of Jonathan, I always quote it, said, the ambition of any politician is not the one single drop of blood of a Nigerian. So there are certain places where the INEC ad hoc staff may not really have had a choice.
But
you just let it go. Where you are able to say no, then you should. But the question really should be, how did those underage people get their
PVC? It started from there.
The biometric process, biometric verification that requires that the person present themselves physically.
But you do know that before the voting, when they were doing when they were doing PVC registration, there was already circulation pictures of these children being on the INEC portal as persons who were going to vote.
So I think that was where we were supposed to be. That underage voting supposed to have been arrested at the point of collection. Registering for PVC. The officials cannot tell me that they are not able to determine the age of Nigerians. You should be able to know somebody that, look at the little children. You'll be able to, you are not meant for this. But like Mr. Shegun is saying here too, it depends on the community. If the community is bringing everybody forward, whether underage or overage or whatever, and the people that are coming to register then are questioning it, something can happen. Exactly. This is what we are talking about. That if we must get our democracy right, we must be able to strengthen our security, and we must be able to strengthen our court system, our judicial system, especially. Because where we are going towards now, we are going towards the judiciary now. After all this now, we begin to hear court cases and all this. How prepared is our judiciary to give Nigerians adequate democratic system that we be in for. This is another issue.
All right, that's the phone call 0700 903 903 9039. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Julius.
Julius.
Yeah.
Where's your location?
I'm calling from Ikoto.
From Ikoto. Julius, please go ahead.
I just want to contribute to the topic people are discussing.
Okay.
You see, we have waited for too long, sacrificed a lot of things, fuel, money. To this time, we go to vote, and they told us that there is a lot of security purpose. Why those securities is outside and they are not inside the polling unit? Now, they didn't start the vote immediately. They do it to manipulate everything. In short, so by them coming late after 12, after 1, that means it's something arrangement. They have arranged everything. Please, let them cancel this election and repeat it and bring security to the polling unit. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Do you know the results that would take, the requirement for such to conduct another election? Because it's not.
You don't even have the
you can't get
and all that.
with everything that Nigerians have invested in this.
This is 4 years preparation. 4 years.
Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we lost our connection. 0700 903 903 903, because we will take a short break before noon for the world news, and of course to watch Mahmoud Yakub give his press conference, because questions will definitely, he's going to be bombarded with questions. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, this is I'm coming from Ukwafu.
From
Ukwafu.
All right, go ahead, please.
Look at what the last caller just said now. You cancel election. You know what it takes to cancel election. Let them they are accepting the result. If any politician has said, let them use this investigation and go to court. After I cancel election, it has been done.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call this morning. We're looking at the elections. We're looking at the live updates. We're looking at the results. We may not mention results though, because we're waiting for Mahmoud Yakub to do the needful. But we saw some of these presidential candidates, especially President Muhammadu Buhari. He gave an assertion. I think we should listen to that later. Hello, good morning. Please, whenever you call, kindly turn off the audio of your radio. Otherwise, the volume will be good. Hello? You have not done that. Please kindly do that and call back. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. We're currently streaming live on YouTube as well, so you can actually go on YouTube and virtually be part of the conversation this morning. Hello? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you too.
My name is Emmanuel, calling from Abulado.
Abulado, Emmanuel. Go ahead, please.
Yes. This election, yesterday in my polling unit, the BVAS did not upload. Even the time where they come, no network. Somebody donated his data for them. The data burn up to 3 times. If the data burn, he will recharge again.
Wow.
And when they want to upload it, it still didn't upload. So may they not try anything funny.
Wow.
May they remove the hand of monkey for soup before it turns to set a hand.
All right, thank you. Did you see the synergy, the corporations, Nigerians, it contributed to ensure that the election process was good. In some polling units, they started writing their names down, especially where the INEC officials hadn't arrived, so that when they come, the process was seamless. Some persons, whatever ran flat, somebody, contributes, gave his generator to charge it, and now this person said another person gave his data. It tells you the collective effort. In most, would I say most states actually we wouldn't say we recorded voter apathy, except some northern states.
Well, apathy, it's only in Kaduna that El-Rufai was complaining.
You
that people
complain.
I have never seen the kind of level of compliance Nigerians, all since 1999. Everybody trooped us. And they trooped us so early.
So early.
And then
There was
this
a state
another-
it was raining.
Yes.
They were with
in
their
the rain,
umbrellas.
Yes.
Oh, that was impressive. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Chris Okafor. I'm calling from Ajawa State.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Well, we thank God the election went well here.
All right.
At the same time, this is our preparation for 4 years. They will not start preparing at all. So that's just what I want to say. But after all, we are the one doing ourselves because I don't know why those boys will come to see some ballot boys. In my area, the election went well.
Well, all right. Mr. Elvis, in the morning yesterday when we started off, when we went to visit some of these polling units, it was calm.
Yes.
The environment was serene. In fact, some young boys were playing football on the streets. It was just surprising that when we moved, I think we left some of these polling units by past 12. We began to see feelers of chaos and violence taking place.
I think the security really need to do a lot of job. I wasn't expecting that violence to have commenced at that early part of the day. I knew when getting to counting of result time and they feel that certain area is not favorable to their candidate or whatever, something of that nature was going to happen. Look at what happened in my state. Very shameful thing. Absolutely shameful. My friend was calling me. This is done by the governor, a sitting governor, because he just discovered that the political party that he belongs did not get that single vote from that his ward and his polling booth. He came and saw what was going on. Immediately he drove out. These boys came, scattered everything, destroyed everything. People were just crying and shouting. How do you reconcile such thing? You don't even know that you are demarketing your party more, because now I don't even think his political party will have anything that is of relevance to my people any longer.
Mr. Shagun, let's say now we have another election to conduct on March 11. Do you think there'll be a difference then with what's transpired now?
Well, there has to be. INEC has 2 weeks to get its act right. I'm really disappointed with what we've heard so far. And, I at the early part of yesterday, as the report started trickling in, everything seemed to be okay. But as the day went on and, more information started coming up, you could see that in certain parts of the country, BVAS was a problem. INEC has to fix that. They can fix that. That it's a technology issue. So there is no doubt that there are solutions to whatever problems that they had. And they also need to look at how, what measure will they have to put in place to ensure that their staff are not compromised, and where compromise happens, that there is consequence. So, for example, this elections that happened yesterday, in places where certain irregularities took place, where there's a lack of upload, or where people are accused of trying to change results, because we also saw that yesterday. INEC must ensure that there is a consequence. You hold people accountable, because if you don't, then you're encouraging others to do the same, because they will say to themselves, after all, this person did it 2 weeks ago and he got away with it. So I think INEC has 2 weeks to try and redeem its image. Of course, this particular election, the results are not even out yet. For me, I won't even be looking that far yet. This election, INEC must make sure that the will of the people
is adhered to.
Is what counts, is what prevails, and it is still not too late. Whatever manipulation is going on, whatever tricks that the politicians are up to, it is not too late for Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to save his reputation and save the reputation of INEC.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm okay. How is everybody there?
Fine, we're all good.
Morning.
Happy Sunday.
Same to you.
May God continue to empower you press journalists and news, because you go through a lot of risk. God will continue to protect you. Yeah, my name is Martins from Agro-Kota.
Okay.
Yeah, Okota precisely yesterday was a bit more peaceful, most especially some area covering the area that I voted. But there are things also we noticed. Many polling booths did not have police protection. Those that even have, the policemen were never armed. I don't know whether that is an INEC rules. But one of the major problems people can encounter, including me, was this polling booth. People were removed from their original polling booth to many very far places that it took me about 6 polling booths checking before I could get to my own polling booth. And I discovered that when we were about concluding, some of the other people were rushing also to join in, and we are almost panting. And when you ask them, they say they have been in one polling booth. Please, INEC should, I don't know whether it's public education or whatever they should do, because I know that would have disenfranchised a lot of people yesterday. That is on one hand. Number 2 is that it baffles many of us, including me, why the BVAS work effectively during the accreditation, but immediately it was the time of uploading of the result, all this problem started. No more uploading. These are not what we expect from this 21st century digital world that INEC promised us that will work seamlessly. But very more importantly, I want to say this. Based on what happened even in the last 4 years when we did election, if certain things are not done to some of the areas, including Lagos, many of the areas we saw on video, many of the areas we got on phone from our friends, our relatives, that people came out boldly and disrupted the election, boasting what they would do and all that. And if INEC and security operatives do not do anything, it's going to deter people from coming out for the next, which is the gubernatorial and House of Assembly election. And again, it does not tell well of this nation and this Lagos state. This thing has been happening severally. I know that, like we are saying now, maybe after the voting now, the result is coming, a lot of people will be apprehensive because there may be a lot of terror attack here and there, which happened in the last 4 years also. I don't think somebody will be living in his own nation. I've lived in Lagos State since 1986. And I can't see how I won't be free to move in Lagos State or do what I want to do, or do my civic right without being intimidated by anybody. And the people are seeing it. Government is seeing it. Security forces are seeing it. Tomorrow now, none of those people will be apprehended, and we say we are a civilized world and we are not one Nigeria. How would you prove to somebody that you are one Nigeria with this kind of situation? It is very bad. If government do not do anything, that goes to show that government doesn't believe in this one Nigerian-ness we are talking about. You cannot be intimidated in a place that have stayed over almost 35 years, and you contribute to the GDP of that place. You contribute to everywhere to the growth of that place. And somebody will not come and disenfranchise you. We cannot take all these things again.
All right.
Enough of this.
Thank you for calling. All right, 0700-903-903-903. That is a number to call. You can actually also send us messages via the WhatsApp 0700-903-9039. Currently, we are waiting, by noon for the INEC chair to give us the situation on ground at this particular moment. That is the only thing that will help us understand what next is going to take place. The results are gradually trickling in, but then, of course, the Independent National Electoral Commission has the mandate to disclose what result in various collation centers from some of the polling units. In the meantime, though, you can actually stay on right here. Let us continue the conversation on this platform. It's going to be all day, possibly even till tomorrow, because we don't know.
No, we're expecting the results.
We're expecting the results. That's basically what it is. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Ambassador, how are you? It's been a while.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody in the studio. Yes, I've been around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, yesterday it went well, even though I'm not able to vote. My name is the BVAS did not capture me.
Wow.
I try our best. I can't vote, but I just take it like that. So
you were disenfranchised yesterday.
Yes, but wow, it's one of those things. So I think maybe after this, I'm going to write INEC to tell me why. My name is there, my picture is there. But doing it more than 4 times, it's so painful. I'm not able to vote yesterday. But aside that, everything will come where I am. But I want to appeal to all Nigeria, please, please let us embrace this, no matter what. Nigeria still remains.
Exactly.
The court is there. We all Nigerians. After all the consultants, we all Nigerians. Please, wherever we are, let us make peace. Not to threaten wars or whatever. Nigeria between one of us. No matter what, court is there to decide. You should not go to Trump, Donald Trump, American way. That call people to the White House. Please. Nigeria belongs, so let us make peace.
All right,
please,
thank you, Ambassador. Thank you so much. All right, 0700 903 903 903. We're streaming live on YouTube. We'll appreciate your comment on this. Another thing I wanted to talk about, why were Nigerians in diaspora, why were they not captioned on how they would participate in these elections?
The Electoral Act does not allow for diaspora voting yet. The conversation came up in the run-up to during the amendment proceedings and all of that, but it was turned down. It was rejected by the National Assembly. We have been saying on different platforms that the diaspora, Nigerians in diaspora, they represent about 10% of our total population. About 20 million Nigerians living outside this country. In terms of economic contribution, they send in between 20 to 25 billion US dollars every year. That's more than our oil revenue in some years. Their contribution to, in terms of remittances and cash flows inwards, is more than our oil revenues. So why can't they vote? This has to stop, because for the politicians, the diasporans are an enlightened community. They're educated, they're well informed, so they will take better decisions. You can't buy their votes. They're going to vote based on conscience. So I think that the politicians don't want them to participate in this process. And so for whatever amendments that must happen to the 2022 Electoral Act, diaspora voting must become one of the provisions. You don't need electronic voting to allow diasporans to vote. Just put an INEC polling unit in every embassy. And then any Nigerian that can make it from wherever they live to the embassy is simple. Just send 1 BVAS or 2 BVAS, just 1 or 2. Send it to an embassy in every country where there's an embassy for Nigerians to go and cast their votes. It's not difficult, so I don't know why. Anyway, we all know why politicians don't want these guys to vote. So for me, that's it. We need to amend that and ensure that they can vote.
In addition to that, remember in 2019, we were agitating for signing of Electoral Act. Electoral Bill into an act then. And the president told us that it was too close to that 2019 election and it was not signed. But fast forward to 2022, 2021 February, we saw the president giving us that gift of signing it. So the biggest assignment we are going to give to the incoming government now is what we are just discussing. Nigerians in diaspora must be part of 2027 general election of this
excuse.
Nation. They have contributed so much. Esther, we are just talking about Nigeria is known in the world as an oil-producing nation. But what our brothers and sisters are remitting into this nation is more than what we are relying on. What we put the whole of our budget, all our borrowing on. So why are such persons, not given the right to be part of choosing the leadership of their country? It's an aberration. So Nigerians must begin to. We have started it in this studio. Mr. Shegun, some of us have opportunity for this kind of voice to talk to mass Nigerians. We'll continue to let the incoming government. Esther, remember, each time we are here, I always tell you, we are setting an agenda for the incoming government. It cannot be business as usual. We know where we are coming from. We've tolerated so much, we've bought so much. Now, even this one that local government autonomy that was just stepped down, we are going to resurrect it. These are things that we must begin to tell that it is not supposed to be like this. We have to know why we are in democracy, and we must enjoy it in total. So these are options that are open up for the incoming government that you must begin to solve for us.
0700-903-903-903. That is the number to call this morning. 0700-903-903-903. We'll soon be wrapping up this particular segment for the world news at 12 and then come back immediately after that. Hello, good morning. Oh, please, whenever you call, turn down the audio of your radio. It's very important. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Yeah, there's something I want to report against.
What's your name, please?
I'm Hyacinth. I'm in Lagos State.
Hyacinth. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I voted here at Janiki, precisely along Badagry.
Okay.
But my people in Imo State, the whole local government, there's no presence of INEC throughout yesterday till now. No single presence, the whole local government, and some parts of Imo State too, but in my own local government, my children are there. From other people, relations, I've been calling out other local governments. No single place at all till now. No presence of INEC at all till now. I don't know how to equate that one.
Could it be that the INEC officials are afraid?
No, but Mahmoud, yesterday afternoon, Professor Mahmoud has mentioned Imo is one of the states that are being considered. So I think we'll give them the opportunity.
People trade yesterday till the night. Today again, everywhere is filled up. No INEC.
INEC is already aware of that.
But they were supposed to continue the elections today.
But do you know?
Yes.
No, I think that looks like fake news. That's why we are waiting to hear from him now.
Everywhere is filled up with human beings. As was yesterday, the same thing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Ohaji Ebe, my local government in Imo State.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you. We're monitoring the process here, okay?
Please let there be information to reach them.
All right,
in Imo
okay.
State.
Thank you. Now, here is the scenario. Even in Lagos, there's some local governments where it was obvious that it was deliberately, things were disrupted deliberately. INEC had said there will be, would I call it another measure for those areas to continue, do another election, which is what, people expected will happen today. But if we can see movement, then it tells us that
I don't think anything is happening today.
Anything is happening today. So is there a tendency that it could be March 11 for elections to be conducted in such places?
No. I think INEC has also addressed that. So in Lagos today, people are voting.
Exactly. That's the thing. Because I saw that news last night.
Confirmed. I can confirm that in some polling units, I've seen pictures of some of my friends voting because the voting exercise was either disrupted yesterday or wasn't concluded. And INEC has said there is provision for that to happen. INEC made a press release yesterday to say if there's a disruption or there's a disruption.
So it means that Imo State is supposed to be part.
No,
yes, Imo State, where those areas where these elections, So and they're saying now that
we need to address that.
Yes, he will need to, because they're saying now that people have come out fully to participate and that INEC officials haven't arrived.
But Mahmoud has told Nigerians that no Nigerian will be disenfranchised. Exactly. So with that comment alone, there must be a way for Imo people that he has just called in to be given their civic opportunity.
And let's not forget that there is for this continued process, there is no movement restriction anymore. Because it's no longer a widespread election exercise. It's
but security should be beefed up within the...
Which is the good thing. Yeah. So in those places, for example, where there was violence yesterday. So now, most of the elections are over. We're counting and collating. Security can be concentrated in
those areas,
But mobilization, how are people mobilized to be aware that election is going on?
I think in their local communities, they know.
Okay,
now, but in the case of Imo, where they have people there right now and INEC officials are not on ground? Well,
I think Imo generally, because he specifically mentioned Imo yesterday, I think a date must come up. Either it's going to be conducted along the governorship election or something will come up.
Something ought to have been communicated because persons went back to the polling unit today thinking the elections will take place today.
No, but we are talking here now, and as we are talking, I know too well that information are going out. INEC must, they can't be disenfranchised. He has said that. So something will be done. Because in my own state, about 3 local government from my area yesterday, a part of particular, they had 3 positions yesterday: governor, presidency, senate, and rep. There were some 3 local governments in my area yesterday where election did not take place in those national assemblies. But INEC also mentioned it that those areas are going to be captured. So
All right.
we'll be waiting.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break for the world news at noon. And of course, afterwards, we're supposed by then Mahmoud should be situated for us to hear what he has to say concerning this election that didn't turn out to the taste of a lot of us. So he needs to help us understand what actually transpired. And of course, we're still on here. The analysis continues, okay? The updates, the election quagmire, the process itself, and of course, INEC officials too, the role that they played. Mr. Elvis, thank you so much. We're still here today, though. Mr. Shegun, thank you as well. We'll just hold up until the world news at 12 is done, and then, we'll come back here. All right. Do stay tuned to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The election update and analysis still continues. And so this is basically where we're going to be giving you live information as they come in. Okay.
Number one.
Your station has just been upgraded.
This is your number one radio station.
The best radio station to listen to this year is right here.
Oh, you guys should not kill me. BOP 90.3 FM.
The voice of the people. Diribusa. 90.3 FM.
Hello there. This is the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. First, the highlights. President Buhari displays his ballot paper and verifies the APC candidate. Fire raises popular Monday market in Maiduguri. Governor pledges relief fund. EFCC arrests 19 in Kano, Benue, other states over vote buying. INEC says voting to continue in Cross River State today. And on the foreign scene, at least 27 migrants dead after boat wreck off Italy. And in sports, Atata hails Arsenal star after Leicester win. Details now. The World News at 12 begins with President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday explaining why he displayed his ballot paper, which is against the INEC rules. He stated that he needed to clear the speculations of some political party opponents on his commitment to the All Progressives Congress APC. Let's listen to him speak with some journalists.
Impressed because I've seen how the people turn up. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy. The candidate I voted for, I already mentioned it in so many number of states, in Nasarawa, in Katsina, in Sokoto, all over the place. I mentioned my favorite candidate, and I believe my constituency will choose him 100%. Yes, Nigerians should make sure that they have been respected. That means the candidate they want to vote for, they are allowed to vote for him. It is a pity there is only one woman candidate as a governorship from Adamawa State. So the woman should kindly follow our APC presidential candidate, and everybody knows him. It's very exciting. I look at those who are competing, and some of them are so agitated. They didn't know that I tried 3 times. I ended up in Supreme Court 3 times. And then the 4th time I said, God day, and God sent technology. With permanent voters card, no fraudulent person can come and claim anything more than 1 vote for himself. Inshallah, APC Zatachi. Yes.
In a tragic development, the Monday market in Maiduguri, which is the biggest in Borno State, has been gutted by fire, destroying many shops and property worth billions of naira. VOP News gathered that the fire started around 2 a.m. this morning and spread to different parts of the market. The cause of the fire is still unknown, as many traders wept uncontrollably while counting their losses to the inferno. An official of the market who identified himself simply as Goni said there were over 10,000 shops in the market. Meanwhile, Governor of the state, Babagana Zulum, has announced a relief package of 1 billion naira for the victims of the fire incident. He made the announcement in a broadcast this morning after visiting the market. He noted that the support was to provide urgent assistance to victims pending assessment of the damage caused by the incident. He also announced the setting up of a committee that would include representatives of the victims to speedily assess the damages and compile a comprehensive list of those affected and their losses. The governor added that firm measures will be put in place to prevent reoccurrence of such disaster. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, yesterday arrested 19 people suspected of vote buying in Katsina, Kano, Benue, and Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The EFCC Kano Zonal Commander Farul Dogondaji revealed that 16 of the suspects were arrested in Kano and 1 in Katsina. He further revealed that 6 suspects were apprehended in the Tofa and Ungogo local government areas with bags of rice and semovita. He further revealed that 10 suspects were arrested at Kofa Danagundi and Kwali Primary School in the municipal local government area. He noted that one suspect was apprehended with 60 rappers in the Bakori local government area of Katsina State, adding that all the suspects were arrested while attempting to share the items to influence voters during the presidential and National Assembly elections. Similarly, the commission said it arrested another man for alleged vote buying with 194,000 naira at Gidanzaka polling unit in the Gorondutse area of the Kano municipal local government area of Kano State. The EFCC commander has revealed that the suspect will be arraigned after a thorough investigation. Similarly, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has arrested a 73-year-old woman in Benin for being in possession of 20 permanent voter cards. 2 other accomplices were also arrested. The EFCC, in a statement on its Facebook handle today, revealed that operatives of the Benin Zonal Command of the Commission arrested 3 persons for being in possession of several permanent voter cards, PVCs. The suspect claimed that the cards were handed over to her by 2 other suspects. The EFCC representative in the state revealed that the suspects have made useful statements and will be arraigned in court as soon as investigation is completed. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has extended voting in the presidential and National Assembly elections in Cross River State to today, Sunday, February 26. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Mrs. Antonia Nwobi, Head of Department of Voter Education and Publicity, on behalf of Professor Gabriel Yomere, the Residential Electoral Commissioner for Cross River State. According to Nwobi, the extension became necessary for the presidential and National Assembly elections to hold in areas of the state where it could not hold on the original date of February 25. This include Bakassi local government area, Day Spring 1 and 2, as well as Kwa Island. She noted that voting in the affected areas resumed by 8 a.m. and ends at noon. She further advised all stakeholders, including members of political parties, Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, observers, the press, INEC staff and ad hoc personnel for the 2023 general elections to be duly guided. She reassured of the Commission's resolve that no eligible voter will be disenfranchised in the 2023 general elections. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 and Voice of the People 90.3 FM. After the break, foreign stories and sports. Do stay with us. And on the foreign scene, at least 27 migrants have died after their boat sank at dawn off the Italian coastal city of Crotone in the southern region of Calabria, according to Italian media today. News agency ANSA said at least 30 people were believed to have drowned in the incident. The search for survivors has continued, although hampered by stormy seas. The news agency revealed that the migrants' vessel was overloaded and had split apart due to violent waves. The latest such tragedy comes just days after the hard right government pushed through Parliament a controversial new law on rescuing migrants. The new law forces migrant aid vessels to make just one rescue attempt at a time, which critics say risks increasing the number of drownings in the central Mediterranean. And in sport, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has signed out Leandro Trossard for praise, following his side's 1-0 win over Leicester City on Saturday. Arteta disclosed that Trossard did really well against Leicester at the King Power Stadium, adding that he was very pleased with him. Arsenal defeated the Foxes thanks to Gabriel Martinelli's only goal of the match. Arteta has noted that Trossard is so good in small and tight spaces with his creativity to open people up, and he stays really happy with the player. And that's it in the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the headlines again. President Buhari displays his ballot paper and verifies the APC candidate. Fire raises popular Monday market in Maiduguri. Governor pledges relief fund. EFCC arrests 19 in Kano, Benue, other states over vote buying. INEC says voting to continue in Cross River State today. And on the foreign scene, at least 27 migrants dead after boat wreck off Italy. And in sport, Ateta hails Arsenal star after Leicester win. And that is a wrap on the world news at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP 903 FM. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM. This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
Some people now have everything. Why many to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria? Our ambition to be millionaires is running the country down. We all want to be millionaires and to live in the air. Oh, let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know. Yes, we want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Remember that a simple step is the beginning of a million miles. Let's start right now to rebuild ourselves so as to make the country smile. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Heaven and earth will pass away. It is written in the book of God. The good people will surely find their ways, and the meek will inherit the world. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know. We want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? One more time. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Let's save Nigeria. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Oh yeah, which way Nigeria? Which way is heading to? Which way Nigeria is heading to? One more time. Which way Nigeria?
This is the station that gives you a voice.
How can you be jubilating when judgment has not been given to them? Meaning that you are bribing the judicial.
You see a lot of young Nigerians who are leaving the country in droves. They are running away to escape poverty.
Looking at this issue, and I think Nigerians should rise.
Many families and properties have been destroyed. Accountability is one of the things that is lacking in governance in this country.
Speak with no hindrance.
Chapter 4, Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution, Right to Freedom of Expression and Press, states, every person shall be entitled to the freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart ideas and information without interfering.
Now you have a voice. Voice of the people, 90.3 FM.
right, we're back. We are back to continue on what is going on right now as collation is being done. And of course, voting is going on in some polling units across the country, especially areas that had situations yesterday. So this is VOP's Situation Room, where we get to talk about exactly what is transpiring, the after effect of some of this, of the polling exercise that took place yesterday. And of course, you get to give us update yourself, or actually love your witness report. Tell us what you are experiencing, what you can see, how you went about your voting yesterday, and of course even today, if you're one of the persons who couldn't vote yesterday, possibly your polling unit had an issue and you had to go back to vote today, please let us know what exactly is going on along your axis. I'm not alone in the studio, like you heard us earlier. I'm here with Mr. Shegu Shopiton as well as Mr. Elvis Elimehele. We are going to be having this conversation right here, and we also want you to be part of the conversation. Right now, most political parties are still in the Situation Room, the various regions, the zones. They are actually somewhere looking at how the collation of the elections that took place yesterday is ongoing. You can see all of their faces, they're all concentrating. However, there are calls. Yaga Africa, who is watching the vote working group, is actually saying that wrote to international bodies and international observers that something is not right with how the electoral process went on. Yaga Africa, currently, they're not happy. They're unhappy with the late deployment of voting materials in some of the polling units yesterday, and INEC's behavior, which, of course, the conspiracy theory before the elections, it seems to be validating with what actually happened, and even now. And of course, by 12 o'clock, the INEC chair was supposed to have a press conference, address us. We are still waiting. One would say it's the whole Nigerian syndrome thing. But again, it's one of those issues that we're having to contend with. So I think he's trying to put himself together, have answers to all the possible questions that will come up, because I'm sure he knows that he has questions to answer to, especially the areas that INEC needs to verify on what transpired yesterday. So we're back on our talking point exactly. Fake results are circulating. A lot of people are circulating results. We don't know the authenticity of these results. I think that's why you can hear, a lot of us are waiting to hear what the INEC chair has to say concerning that. But with these results, though, the one would say we should apply caution with how we believe some of these things, and we don't want to hit up the polity. So you were saying something today about the voting process that's going on in some polling units. I'd like you to express that.
Okay, so reports are coming in from different polling units that had a large number of voters. The number of registered voters in those places where you have up to 1,000 voters registered. Because of the time it takes sometimes, or maybe because INEC came late, or whatever the reason, voting apparently in some of those polling units stopped at some point yesterday night. And reports are coming in that the electorate in those places have gone back to their polling units, and INEC is not there. And in fact, that when they were told to leave yesterday, they were told voting was over, even though they were on the queue. So I want to say very categorically to anybody that is in this situation, you got to the queue, you were on a queue in your polling unit by 2:30 p.m. yesterday. INEC regulation says that you will cast your vote. INEC is not doing you a favor. They are duty bound to ensure that you vote. Even if that voting happens at 2 a.m., you must vote. And the INEC chairman also came out yesterday to reassure everybody that as long as you're on the queue by 2:30, you must vote. So if for any reason, say that the number of voters on the queue as at, let's say, 10 p.m. or 10, 11 p.m. Was still a large number, and INEC felt, look, we're tired, we have to go, they can go, but they must come back in the morning and continue the process. So I think this is very important. So if you find yourself in this situation and INEC is not showing up in your polling unit, please go to the nearest INEC local government office to you. The local government office is not very far, no matter where you live. It's probably just 30 minutes or a 1 hour drive or whatever. Go there, find the INEC office, and compel them, not by force, just by ensuring that they understand that they have a duty to count well votes. So I think it's important that we put this information out so people are not disenfranchised.
All right, Mr. Elvis, do you think that with what has happened now, especially with INEC, that any other electoral process outside Nigerians may not trust INEC. I mean, this time around, the introduction of BVAS, like we said, and of course the whole PVC thing, INEC assures that there is no how there will be any form of rigging or malignment or anybody not trusting the system. And INEC stating that they were ready to carry on this election. With this offshoot, for example, now, this is a very categorical one. INEC chair is supposed to have a press conference by 12 noon, and this is 12:26, and no, nothing yet. You can actually literally see that feelers is going on in some television stations awaiting the press conference, and it's not happening. Do you think this will fuel the doubts of persons on the capacity of INEC to be transparent when it comes to election proceedings?
Well, it has just shown that INEC is still a working process. And I want Nigerians not to be deterred. Nigerians must not be discouraged. We must make sure that we are able to bring INEC to the level where we can have that confidence from now on. What happened now is that they gave us all the promises. Nigeria government released all they needed for them to make yesterday and this period we are going through to be credible. But we are now seeing that lapses are coming from their own side. INEC has not reported to Nigerians that the Nigerian government could not reduce the funds they needed. Even as Nigerians cannot even raise 100 naira now, 200 naira in their respective homes to feed their families as a result of scarcity of naira notes. We saw when Professor Mahmoud went to meet the CBN government, MFLA, and to complain that most of the activities require cash for logistics. And MFLA categorically promised him on a live television after that meeting that their money was going to be ready. Okay. So we cannot understand what has made some of these, lapses, these shortcomings that we started seeing, during the voting yesterday to this moment, what led them. So we are going to make sure Nigerians, when I say we, Nigerians are going to make sure that we have a credible INEC. Let's not look at Professor Mahmoud now. He's just a representative. INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud will go tomorrow, another INEC chairman will come. But that institution, INEC, that is Nigerian is looking on to continue to give us credible elections every 4 years or as the case may be, must be put to a level that we have that confidence that even if we are asleep and they tell us that this is what they are going to do, we hold them accountable and we know that they will be able to do it. So that institution, INEC, deserve to be strengthened, deserve to have people that can tell Nigerians that you're talking of leadership of a nation. This is not a monarchical system. We are talking of voting, democratic leadership. So when they tell us that we are ready, and we know that they are actually ready. So Nigerians must join hands together to build that type of INEC that we can have that confidence. So that come any general election, it will not be running head and scatter. Oh, we cannot transmit the result. Oh, the machine is failing. Yeah, there are some of these machines could be human error, but the backup must be strengthened. When we went for INEC briefing, last week as it is now, INEC told us that they have backups for BVAS. Backup in case there is any of them that is malfunctioning in any polling booth. They told us. And they also told us that they have trained technologists that are going to be moving from in different local governments. In case there is any of them that is not working well, that they could quickly come in and rectify. But what now delayed the transmission from some polling booth finished voting by 4 p.m. yesterday. Some finished by 5 p.m. What delayed the transmission that INEC could not transmit results to the portal, where Nigerians begin to see that my polling booth result has been transmitted and it is exactly the way it was counted in my presence that I saw here. What now delayed it? That 11 p.m. nothing was in the INEC portal. We need to hear this because as time goes on, questions that are going to be asked solutions must come to those questions as Nigerians want them.
So in the states, most of the election polling units that elections took place yesterday, of course, they're beginning to upload the results in most of the polling units. Currently, it seems that the All Progressives Congress seems to have a lead there.
I don't even want to go into it. I'm afraid of the result. It's actually what it's actually for INEC because some of the ones I've actually seen, Esther, I mean, I don't even want to go because we don't have that right to begin to talk of
No,
this.
results have been uploaded.
Yes.
You know, people are reviewing the results from some of these polling units when they upload it, and there are already cries of rigging because of the process that a lot of these things went through. How the whole situation seems dicey. That's why I was asking you the question: that is it possible for Nigerians to continue to trust INEC when it comes to electoral proceedings? You said something that the chairman is just a person.
Yes.
Representing the body. So he may have a good plight, a good intention towards how the elections are conducted. Mr. Shegun said something that most of these ad hoc staff that were deployed to coordinate the elections already have their own biases. They have their individuals are there. So there are several techniques that could be deployed for some certain things to happen. But so far, I would say that with the feelings and results in uploaded, of course, a lot of people are celebrating their candidates. But let's look at a particular political party, the reason why that party actually gained the popularity it gained. You know, if you recall in 2015, former President Goodluck Jonathan, there was this point where Nigerians got to and said, okay, we do not care anybody else. We no longer want this government. Things are not, going the way we want it to go. That was when, this is President Muhammad Buhari. We make things better, things move forward, and that was how the All Progressives government, came in place. Do you think that kind of scenario will play out this time around?
Well, I think to a certain extent it can play out.
Okay.
I think what we're witnessing, and you recall, apart from the 1969 elections, we had three contenders. In this is the first time in this democracy that we had three front runners. And what brought about the three front runners is the fact that Nigerians believe, and I'm speaking because I've heard a lot of Nigerians speak, and this is the general feeling, that the two major parties that we've had since the advent of this Fourth Republic have failed. And that there is a need for a third alternative. And the emergence of this third force that we're now calling third force, because of the disappointment of Nigerians with the government of the Goodluck Jonathan, with Buhari, and Buhari has been a worst failure, with all due respect to whoever is offended. And therefore, it's time to look at somebody else. So definitely, and you can sense that in the initial reactions that you saw yesterday as results started trickling in from different polling units. So that feeling, that fervor, that energy, that enthusiasm that we felt in 2015 was alive and vibrant leading up to these elections. Therefore, I think that the people in authority, people in government need to be careful. We need to make sure that Nigerians believe in the credibility of this process that is going on. Because if that fails, the potential consequences can be dire. You cannot dash the hopes of a people that are raring to go and are energetic and enthusiastic, and then dash their hopes by presenting them with an outcome that they do not believe is credible. It's very dangerous. So I really, really want to call out INEC. INEC has a huge job on their hands of convincing Nigerians that this process
was really credible.
It's very critical. You look, this IREV portal, I thought it was strange when INEC announced it some, last year, whenever this came up, that what was uploaded. When I first heard about it, I was excited. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. They're uploading results. I thought that's what we're going to have is live collated results. So it's done in other parts of the world, and you just see who's leading per time. I thought that's what we're talking about. But when I went in, because I got there, I registered, I can log in, I've been checking it. I discovered that what we actually have there are just uploaded polling unit sheets, result sheets, scanned with the BVAS. So that doesn't do much. It really doesn't do much. Okay, so for example, I've been checking. I told you.
Yes.
Yeah, so now it's gone up to 32,000 polling unit results being uploaded. When you view some of those results, they're not clear. There are some that have T-Pex. There is one particular one that has the picture of a face of a human being, not a result sheet. Yes. So all of this is disturbing. INEC, I know that INEC's intention with introduction of BVAS and introduction of IREV was very noble. The Electoral Act 2022 had good intentions in saying electronic transmission of results is not allowed. But what we are witnessing now is almost eroding all the gains that we made from 2015 to 2019 with old card reader. The card reader apparently delivered more credible outcomes than what we're seeing now with the BVAS. And INEC, look, this is a very delicate period. INEC has to ensure that all of the good work of the last 10 years is not lost because some people are trying to subvert the process. INEC has a huge job on their hands.
Mr. Alvis, we have already talked about, before we went on the news at 12, there was something we're talking about then. We mentioned the fact that if we look at the various democratic dispensations that Nigeria has practiced, this one is something that is going to give a shift, to the kind of participation that we experience this time. It's been a long time we saw Nigerians participate like that. An example was when the accreditation exercise, not accreditation, registration of PVCs was ongoing. And you recall when political parties were still trying to look for candidates that will represent them. A lot of Nigerians were not particularly wanting to go register for their PVC until, a certain political aspirant was declared himself. And they were like, okay, this is no longer the norm. There is a shift this time. Somebody different. It's not like he's not been in government before. It's not like he was not part of a popular political party. But we're just hoping that this time around, having this person, it will be different from what Nigerians are used to. And so we now saw the participation of persons going to get themselves registered. Do you think with how things are going and how we are not seeming to understand clearly, the path we're heading to right now, the role that President Muhammadu Buhari has to play to ensure that things do not go haywire?
Yeah, it has a very big role to play because it's still sitting there to wait for tonight. So whatever happened to Nigeria and Nigerians now, the president is still going to be held responsible. Let me tell you, Esther, there is always a shift in human beings' life. In 1993, we saw this kind of shift. Okay. Exactly the same way Nigerians were expectant yesterday. That was how we actually came out of June 12, 1993 general election. It was a people's government. It was a people-conceived idea that we need a change. And that change came. And you saw what followed. When that election was announced, Nigerians said, no way. Nigerians said this is not the type of election that no matter how much the military we are, you will see a pocket of crisis everywhere across the nation. If you look at that 1993 trajectory and what we have now, it's almost the same. The candidate that came in 1993, nobody was talking about religion. Nobody was talking about ethnicity. Nobody was talking about, it is our own. The candidate was, Nigerians were like, we need a deliverer. Nigerians saw him as the deliverer. Then, the level we are now, like my colleague here, Mr. Shegun has said, we started this democracy since 1999 and we will be coming. We've seen the failure of the two major political parties that have also been bringing us. We saw PDP when PDP was boasting that we were going to be in power for 60 years. All of a sudden, after 16 years, the power crumbled. The umbrella torn apart and Nigerians were like, we were kind. Okay, we saw President Muhammadu Buhari, who have been trying first time, second time, third time, until the first time he now got it. Because Nigerians were tired of PDP. They said, okay, let's give it a trial to a different house. That's what we are. We have just seen President Muhammadu Buhari, 8 years almost gone. Nigerians are like, this is not the kind of thing when we want to. This kind of change has just brought Nigerians to our promised land. Again, Nigerians are yearning for, we need the real change. We need that change that will make us to be Nigerians. Not change that 133 million Nigerians are in abject poverty, diverse poverty, in all ramifications. That's not the kind of change we need now.
Now, do you think
now, here we are. INEC must not subvert the choice of the people this time around. That's my fear. So that what happened in 1993 June 12, we are not talking of annulment. If it doesn't go the way of the people, it's also like an annulment to the people. So, but we are believing that they still have that very time now to amend their name and their image. Especially now that we are expecting results. I saw some video this morning where results are being prepared. and rewriting it.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I saw some videos. They are preparing results and they are rewriting it. And after rewriting it, then you now upload that one into the system. Is that what you are saying? So what we are saying is that political party agents who were in the various polling units yesterday must be armed. They have to be armed and they have to be able to defend what the result is got in their polling place yesterday.
So you need to clarify armed with
what they got from the polling unit. The result they declared in polling unit yesterday. And not armed with AK-47. Be armed with what they got. They all have reporters notes yesterday where everything was recorded. They must be armed. If it is in contrary to what they got from their polling unit and is what they saw in the IRF portal is different, they should be able to read out. Because where we are going, Esther, credibility is 100%. It must be assured. INEC has been given what is needed to be given to get what we are yearning for. So we are not compromising.
Mr. Shepherd, do you think now that with this IRF thing for uploading results that it's a flop? Do you think that now the next elections it should be done the manual way where everybody can witness the counting process?
It's too early to say it. I think it's too early. I think Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, I keep calling his name. The box office at his
table,
as far as INEC is concerned, he still has a chance to salvage the situation. There are even insinuations that there's somebody in INEC. Look, these things are out there, and we have to escalate it so that in case something is done. There are even insinuations that somebody in INEC is actually the one sabotaging the upload. So Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has his work cut out for him. It's not too late. This election has still turned out to be brilliant, but he has a lot of work to do in sorting out his internal issues and dealing with, putting his house in order. The taste of the pudding is in the eating. So we'll wait until we have eaten this pudding. Let's see the results, and then we'll know whether it's been good or bad. Because in conceptually, the concept is not terrible. The idea is a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Obviously, there are loopholes that people are obviously taking advantage of. Like uploading result sheets that are blurred. Why is it blurred?
What's the essence of that?
Some there's no typix or it's blurred. Some, like I said,
somebody's face.
The result sheet that was going to be transmitted was going to be in picture form. I was happy because it is actually very difficult for at the collation center or to manipulate pictures. I was happy, but a situation where the result sheet is already tipped before it is now uploaded in picture form
or is blurred.
That's where we are calling for credibility. We are calling for INEC to redeem their image as early as possible.
As early as possible. All right. You can be part of the conversation right now. We're still waiting for Mahmoud Yakub's press conference. We need to hear from him. A lot of Nigerians want to hear from him. We want to know what the update is, what the situation is right there at INEC and whatever decisions it is they're making now. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 9039. And we're currently streaming live on YouTube as well, so you can be part of the conversation. We're beginning to have comments on YouTube, so keep on commenting. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. Christian,
he's Christian.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead.
Please, honestly, what really goes on this election is very, 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 very nice and sad. Honestly, to say the truth. And for a part of the result they're talking about, please, if anyone wants to get this thing right, any result sent to their quarter, which is trying to test or anything, they should cancel that result. They should cancel the result. Because you cannot be going, they want credibility, they want everything. They should do good documentation process. And if you look at good documentation process, is that anything that you cancel that is not clear, it should be cancelled. You should move it. They should cancel any result sent by them. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. And like I said, you can actually send us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 9039. That is the number to actually send your WhatsApp message to. Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm alright, you, girl.
We do here.
My sister is still this election that took place yesterday and still going on as we speak right now. Please, whosoever that has the ear to hear, needs to be here. Let them speak to the Mahmoud and people who know him, people who have access to him should talk to him.
Okay.
You should never toy with the life of Nigeria. You should never toy with the life of Nigeria. I repeated it again. I want to find it categorically. If that man set the country on fire, there is no way he will not go anywhere. He's not going to run anywhere. I'm telling you the truth. That man should not joke with the life of the citizen of this country. Because people are patiently waiting. But anybody that knows him should advise him wisely.
Okay.
It's not a threat, but it's your reality. You should never go there. Except you, they want to forget about this country.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 0700-903-903. That is the number to call. This is precisely the fear we're trying to quell when we're trying to discuss, because again, the onus is on INEC. There is still time, exactly, and they shouldn't waste time. Let him address. It's just like how when the narrow redesign thing happened, and there seems to be a bit of anarchy in some areas. The president had to have exactly. Everything just. Yes.
When the speaker, when you speak, everything comes.
Yeah, it wasn't in the morning. It was in the morning at 7. Yeah. Exactly. So that's what we're saying. The communication should happen now.
Yes.
So things should not evolve.
There shouldn't be any lacuna now to Nigeria. But we just need to carry us
along
and begin to explain every situation to us so that we know where we are standing. We've done our own part yesterday after the vote. We are now waiting for INEC to do the needful so that Nigeria. We want to, at least by tomorrow, we should know who is going to be the next president. No matter we should be,
but
there's no secret about it. We voted, we want our president, so INEC should be telling us where we are. No, honestly, what I'm saying, I don't want to believe it here, because I don't want to believe it, honestly.
Oh my God.
You need to hear from the INEC.
Yes, it's important.
He needs to speak to
It's important.
and everything, so that people don't begin to
give room for rumor and anticipation. Hit up the politics.
Exactly. This is where the fake rumors needs to be dispelled. We're having a lot of WhatsApp broadcast messages that
normally give room for it. When you live in a corner of this nation, you give room for substance to fester.
All right. If you know anybody in Imo State, I would like you to get in touch with them. Let's know if they have begun the voting process there, because somebody called in to complain that a lot of persons have come out to the polling units to cast their vote and that no INEC official has arrived. This was about 2:12 when we were talking the first time for the news. So if there is anyone you know who has actually, who is either there, a friend, a cousin, a relative, that you can reach out to in Imo State, let us know precisely what the state of things are concerning the elections in that particular region. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you.
This is Robert from Mushin.
Robert, how is Mushin this Sunday?
Right, it's calm. It's okay.
All right, go on.
Have they declared your results?
No, they haven't declared anything. Me and you, we did here, we did watch them, we did wait.
Okay, I just want to advise that we should ensure that we don't
the way some of your people are making commentary there, it's not supposed to be like that. Let's wait for the results.
That's what we're doing. That's what they actually emphasizing. Wait for the results. If the one acting like they're saying, let us just wait, but they should communicate as soon as possible.
Referring this one to 1993 election, the violence after that 1993. Don't be saying things like that. It's incitement. You are just more or less inciting people. It's not good.
No, just listen to what he said and how he was trying to trace his train of thoughts.
I listen very carefully. This one will not be like 1993. People came out, they voted, and I'm sure let us wait for the results.
That's what we're doing. We're talking about the change. We're talking about the pattern.
Nobody's talking about violence of Nigeria. We're talking about there is a time in people's life that they said we need this change. 1993, Nigeria needed that change.
Yes.
Again, now in 2023, now we needed another change. That's what we are talking
Not
about.
just in 2023, even in 2015, that was basically exactly.
That's why we brought the history from.
We're talking about would I call it the collective participation?
Nigerians at a very particular time in Nigerians' life, an issue of this nature always come up. Nigeria will say we need this change. People were tired of PDP in 2015.
The point that Mr. Elvis is making is simple, that when that desire for change comes, let the will of the people prevail. That's the point.
It came into the analysis
much later, yes.
It just picked 1993.
Okay, so we're not coming to YouTube. Let's read your comments. Decentralized. This name is fun. Decentralized African community. Okay, trans-centralized. Unfortunately, criminality and corruption have become part of the identity of Nigeria. Palayo says, good morning, baby, and everyone, God bless you. All right, it's already happening. Thank you for returning. Nigerians, is this what we bargained for? And that's my obvious Peter. INEC must be honest in their dealings. That's true, obvious. Thank you. Palayo also said the major problem we have in Nigeria election is the INEC. Peter also says law of karma is not as if it is very obvious. Palayo responded by saying, INEC chairman. We don't know that we know. We know go talk to one we will know. All right. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, Esther.
How are you?
Hello.
I can hear you. Let me see your voice. Please continue to talk. What's your name?
My name is INEC. I'm calling from Oshodi.
Okay, no, INEC, I know you. Yeah, is it his voice? All right, INEC, how is Oshodi today?
Actually, it's a bit calm, but yesterday it was soft.
Chai.
It was soft yesterday. I was where I am living from the upstairs. I've been looking at my ceiling. But I can't go to work. I did not go to work.
What time was this?
Pardon?
What time was this?
That was around between the hours of 10 and 11.
That time of the morning?
Yes. By this time, Oshodi was boiling. There's a chief here called Brown Street. Olomo was presently there, and they were beating Igbo people. If you are from Anambra, Enugu, Imo State, they live here. Anyone that live here, they started in CBC. Esther is CBC yesterday in the presence of Olomo.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
No, but as you go there, you will die. We told that attitude, you know. I don't know whether we're working for the atmosphere or what. I don't know.
So you actually could not vote yesterday?
I did not vote.
Hell.
I did not vote. Majority of the people voted Adekoya, Brown, Bantoko, they did not vote yesterday.
So those ones now, no count. That is enfranchised, just like that.
In their own country.
I know the result.
Eh?
I know the result. Yes, I know the result.
Okay. Let's hope that the result is favorable to you, but it is well. Thank you, Nathan, for calling. I do appreciate your calling, okay? So that is the thing. At what point do things degenerate to that level?
Unfortunately, it's and we talked about these things before the elections. The role and the prominence that particular individual was given prior to the elections shouldn't have been, because his allegiances are clear. And for him to then have the courage to go out, in public and threatening people, and there hasn't been, threatening people. Voter intimidation is a crime.
It's a crime.
Electoral act. So how come we haven't seen images of him arrested and at least charged, maybe arrested and released on bail, so that Nigerians would know that there is a rule of law and somebody is protecting everybody. It's very unfortunate.
Did you see the video of the lady yesterday? Yes. They just had to, put the plaster on. She was bleeding.
Esther, when we started this program this morning, I made mention of judicial and prosecution. Arrest, prosecution, and whatever, jail or whatever, is the work of the judiciary. The judiciary must let this democracy work. A situation where some people are treated like sacred cows, some others are treated like non-entities, it doesn't work. Anybody that runs foul of the law must be picked up according to the law of the land. So if you violate it, it means you are already inviting trouble. My people make parable that when you go to the farm and fetch a firewood that is infested with ants, you invited lizard to your compound. So if you go and use your hand to look for trouble, the law will take its course on you. That's what they call. That's why we respect the civilized world. So why here you go through it and there's some people are favored, some people are persecuted.
Hello.
Stand up.
Hello. Can you hear me? All right, 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Joy, calling from Okafa.
Okafa, Joy, our second female caller. Joy, how is Okafa this afternoon?
Very fine.
All right, Joy, go ahead, please.
Please, the man that called before the last person that was saying they should not repair the 1993 election. I think that man is getting everything all wrong. Because when you beat a child, you expect that child to cry. You don't beat a child and you expect the child not to cry. Please, INEC should not play any foul play this time around. We know whom we voted in, so we should expect that. They should not do any foul play. There should be no foul play. They should be very careful and know what they are doing, so that things will not turn around the way that the man is even saying. So please, let's give what we voted. Let them give us what we voted. We should not expect them, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for calling, okay? 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Now, I know all of you are staying outside the country. You're trying to call, but you're trying to call via WhatsApp. You may not connect smoothly because when cellular call comes in, it interrupts it. So do try and say the call or send a message actually. Hello? Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Name and location, please.
Yeah, I'm calling from Godwin.
Godwin from Ijaniku, please go ahead.
Yeah. I can see the next chairman, Mahmoud. It's like they want to make this power play because yesterday, according to the next chairman, he said that self to make a broadcast.
Yes.
So, they are still waiting for the broadcast.
Yeah, we're still waiting for it. Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you. So we're still waiting for the broadcast.
Yes, so the whole Nigerians, the world are watching because this time around, I resolve my comments. We don't know what might happen because we are ready now for this. Goodbye.
All right, thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. We have a message here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please, like the caller said, that any polling unit that presents blurred results should be cancelled. To me, it shouldn't be. My opinion is let the party agents present their own copy of the unit results. Please, I should try do the right thing to avoid stories that touch. And that's Marcus from Lagos. Thank you very much for that, Marcus. That's basically what Mr. Sherman actually just said.
I was saying the agent should be armed with their jottings.
Yes.
So that they can use it to tell the world this was what we counted and this was what we recorded. The Rev Porter is not what it is if it's contradicting.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. Please, can you turn down your audio or whatever it is you're listening to? Yes.
Okay, I'm done. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, everybody there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So, please, INEC hear anything about Lagos State, out of Lagos State, what they are to show you. Yesterday.
Okay.
Some boys just came out from Oshodi, Adekoya, Oshodi. They were scattering everywhere, saying that if you did not vote for APC, you should leave here, go home. If you know that you are not going to vote for APC, that person should go. Nobody should go to your state to go and vote. What kind of thing is that in this Lagos State? The worst thing in Lagos State.
All right.
Lagos State, what is happening?
All right, thank you. Thank you, okay? Thank you.
Carry the voted and burn everything. Burn it, put it, fire on it. Everything wet.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
In fact, there's a video that trended of that man, threatening person saying if you're not supporting a particular presidential aspirant, get out of this place. We don't want you here. Do that. Leave this place as soon as possible. If you don't want anything to happen to you. This is another caller that is calling to verify what actually took place at Oshodi. Again, that is basically why we're waiting for our next chairman's address. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Mr. Hill, I'm calling from Bucknell.
From Bucknell, Mr. Hill, how is Bucknell today?
Yes, I voted yesterday in Bucknell. And before they could be able to carry our results, go submit their supposed to submit it. So many people going and gathering the results not to submit it. And secondly, I want to ask a question. The deployed army.
Hello?
Deployed police. What are their roles in that election where these things are happening? Where people will say you not vote to your country. Where are the army? What are their duties? What are they doing? Why are they deployed? That is my question.
All right, thank you. Remember that we talked about
the security architecture for the elections. They have the 3 concentric security rings. So the security officials at the polling units are not allowed to carry arms. And the reason is very simple. You cannot have a group of 1,000 people who are emotional. They want to cast their vote. You have somebody with a gun. It can, just one small thing can go haywire. So the rules by the guidelines of INEC is you don't want armed people there. And there's a second rule, which is about 1 kilometer or thereabouts away from the polling unit where the armed unit of police exists. And then around Lagos, around each state and around each community, you have the armed DSS and soldiers who will be deployed in case of highly volatile situations. And we saw that happen in a couple of places in Nigeria yesterday. We saw a particular unit in Nigeria where soldiers, they had to move in to protect the voters because they were under severe attack. And there was this popular actress.
Choma.
You have to really admire her courage. She continued to film while everything was going on. Soldiers came. So soldiers have been, mobilized.
There is also the patrol range. I saw that so much of that yesterday in Festa, and I really love what they did. It really made my day that they were moving.
Even as more too, a witness that
the AIC was always moving with his team, constantly, you know, moving into all the streets. So, and even stopping at some that was just like showing up and that patrol continued.
EFCC too was on patrol yesterday to check what to ensure that the vote buying does not occur.
But there's even no incident of vote buying so much yet.
Yes.
It's not heard. What we're hearing in Lagos is this threat of
and ballot snatching and burning the ballot papers.
Vote buying begins to happen in Lagos anyway. It's in the hinterland. It's in the villages. So those are the results that we're talking about.
Hey, you know, that language of the that's
too much in Lagos.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
What's your name?
My name is Maria from Solo.
All right, Maria. How are you today? How is the color today?
So excited. How are you doing?
Well, okay, we're good. I think the energy is
disappointed.
All right. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm particularly disappointed that the INEC chairman, and I'm eagerly waiting for his address this afternoon.
All right.
We have to explain to Nigerians why a particular political party was omitted from the voting, the voting card. Why aren't we seeing other political parties being omitted? Why does it have to be a particular? I don't know if you're aware. I don't want to mention the name of the party. Why is it that it's a particular party that was omitted from the voting register? Was there no inspection of those materials before they were moved to the polling units? So you have to explain all this to us. And then something I want to ask. Those votes we were seeing in the gutters, what will happen to them? Are they wasted or are those efforts wasted? You know how Nigerians came out for this vote. So I really want to hear from him what will happen to those votes that were burnt, the ones that we saw in the gutters.
All right.
The life of Nigerians, I'm eagerly looking for this.
Well, we're going to play. All right, you're going to listen to it now because I think he's already started trying to give an update of what's transpired. So let's take a listen to him, all right?
We also have Mrs. Elsie Ngikambua, Chairperson Electoral Commission of Namibia. Is she around? She's here to come. Mrs. Davidetta Lansana, Chairperson of National Electoral Commission of Liberia. A round of applause for her, please. All the way from Liberia. We have Ba Isaka Sona, Chairman of the Electoral Commission of Niger. You're welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Sakalafia, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Benin. Welcome, sir. We have Mr. Elsie Oedraogo, Chairman Electoral Commission Burkina Faso. Is he around? Maybe he'll soon join us. Also here in Nigeria, Mr. Mohamed Kone, Chairman Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone. We have Mr. Aliu Muma Njai, Chairman Electoral Commission of Gambia. We also have in Nigeria, Mrs. Jane Mensah, Chairperson, the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Maybe she will soon join us. It's my pleasure to also recognize together all the chairmen and secretaries of the 18 political parties here present and all the party agents. You are especially welcome to this collation center. And all the heads of development agencies here present, members of the INEC press corps, and all the journalists here present. You're all welcome. With that, it's my pleasure and privilege to now invite the chairman of INEC to please make a few remarks. Honorable Chairman, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The Inspector General of Police, the agents representing the political parties, national and international observers, members of the diplomatic corps, my colleagues, the chairmen of electoral commissions from East, West, and Southern Africa, representatives of the various security agencies, the media, national and international, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, I welcome you all to the formal opening of the 2023 Presidential Election Results Collation Center. As some of you are aware, collation of presidential election results in Nigeria is done at 4 levels. After the conclusion of voting, counting, and recording of results at the various polling units. The results are first tallied and collated at the 8,809 registration areas or wards. The collated ward-level results are tallied and collated at the 774 local government areas nationwide. Thereafter, they are tallied and collated in each of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The collated figures for each state and the Federal Capital Territory are finally collated here in Abuja, where the announcement of the outcome of the election will be made by the returning officer for the presidential election, who also doubles as the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation. And this is a duty that I'm privileged to perform, and it will be done here at this venue. As we commence the concluding processes, it is my duty to explain the procedure and set the ground rules for the proceedings as follows. 1, all accredited agents, observers, the media, the diplomatic community, and security agencies should adhere to the sitting positions assigned to them. 2, results for each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory shall be presented by the state collation officer for the presidential election, or simply put, the SCOP, who will also serve as the collation officer at state and the FCT level. After collecting the results at state level, the SCOP shall be accompanied to Abuja by the resident electoral commissioner and security agencies. On arrival at the collation center, the SCOP shall be received by the collation secretariat, which shall organize the sequence of presentation. The returning officer shall invite the SCOP, the state collation officer for the presidential election, accompanied by the resident electoral commissioner, to the seat we are going to provide to my left for the presentation of the results. The SCOP, following the format for the presentation of results, shall loudly announce the votes scored by each political party in the state, including reports of cancellations and areas where elections did not hold, if any. The returning officer then invites comments and observations, if any, from the polling agents. The returning officer requests the scope to submit the original copy of Form EC8D. When all the scopes have presented their results, the returning officer shall display the sealed copies of result sheets EC8DA, which is the summary of results of elections on state-by-state basis. The EC8E, the declaration of results for the election, and EC40G3, summary of registered voters in the polling units where elections were either cancelled or not held. And I will have the privilege of displaying the blank forms before proceeding starts after the receipt of the reports from the various state collation officers. Next, the returning officer shall complete the EC8DA and announce the votes scored by each party, and thereafter will invite the polling agents to endorse the form. The returning officer then completes the EC40G3 and compares it with Form EC8DA to ascertain if any of the candidates has satisfied the requirements of the law to proceed with declaration. If satisfied, the returning officer completes Form EC8E and makes a declaration of winner. And finally, the returning officer invites the agents of political parties to receive duplicate copies of the EC8DA and EC8E, which is the final declaration of results. Having set the ground rules, from today, the collation center is hereby declared open until the final determination of the 2023 presidential election. During the course of proceedings, there may be interlude or adjournments. This will be announced by the returning officer as the need arises. As soon as any of the scopes arrives, the process of collation will begin. Once the process begins, the collation center will be open all day and all night, subject only to short breaks as may be announced by the returning officer. The official results will be shown on several screens here at the collation center. There are a number of screens to my left and right. There is also a giant screen behind me on which we will be projecting the results that the scopes are presenting for collation. I appeal to all political parties and media organizations to draw their figures only from the official results released by the Commission as the only body constitutionally responsible for releasing official election figures. When the scopes arrive, they will sit in the open. So there will be seats at the end of the hall. To my right, you will see black leather chairs. That is the holding area for the state collation officers for the presidential election. And then by the side to my right you will see a table there. That is the Collation Secretariat. And the Collation Secretariat is directly under me. So everything that we are going to do here will be done in the open. There is no other room where any other procedure is holding outside this hall. Yes, we have our situation room, but that is just the situation room for the commission. But once collation starts, everything begins and ends in this hall and in the open. As the collation of results progresses, the Commission may find it necessary to brief the nation on matters relating to the election, but unrelated to the collation of results. When the need for such briefing arises, it will not be done here in the collation center. A media center has been prepared in Aso Hall, right behind this building, but within the premises, these premises, for such briefings. Aso Hall has actually been prepared as our media center. So when we need to make briefings unrelated to the collation of results, it will be done there. So we maintain the sanctity of this hall, essentially for the collation of results and matters arising from the collation of results. Where I am unable to personally brief the media, the National Commissioner responsible for information and voter education, sitting to my immediate left, Barrister Festus Okoye, will perform that responsibility. So as we await the arrival of the scopes, we'll now take a break and resume at 6 p.m. We are certain that by 6 p.m., one or two of the scopes will arrive with the results. So we begin the process of collation. I thank you very much. We resume at 6 p.m. God bless you all.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman INEC. As the Chairman has announced, proceedings will be suspended for a few hours and we will resume here at 6 p.m. On that note, I thank you all for coming here for the formal opening session of the National Collation Center. We thank the Inspector General of Police for coming. We thank all the
We are back again. The analysis continues right here. You just finished listening to Marco Yakub's live broadcast, and you heard what he said. He'll be coming back by 6 p.m. Mr. Shepard, this is something to bring you on board. Remember that we had issues that we needed to hear the INEC chairman talk about. Please kindly explain what is this.
So what just happened is just a routine exercise. It's just a procedural thing. The elections have been held, as INEC is concerned. Results are beginning to be collated across the country, and they are just setting up the National Collation Center. So that's what the INEC chairman has done. Just officially opened the National Collation Center so that as the results are being gathered from across the country, they can come in there and they can just deal with it, write it down. The process is they write down manually.
Yes.
There's a national results sheet that they write the results into manually, state by state, party by party, state by state, including invalidated votes. All of that will be presented in the open. That's what the INEC chairman does. All the issues that we've been raising about expecting that INEC will speak to, maybe they will still do so, and we need to continue to demand an explanation of the response from INEC. So good, he has also, you notice in the speech, he alluded to that, because he said if there are any issues that need to be addressed by the commission, there is a media center that is certified and that will talk about that done. So let's hope that we hear from them.
So does it mean that by 6 p.m., that is where all those the collation center will be open? So from there, constituency updates as elections are coming in from region to region, state by state. So everyone will just be monitoring what actually is Nigeria.
State by state, what will happen at 6 p.m. The transition will go like again, and then whatever states have arrived,
yes,
the results will follow the scope from that state. The collation officer, the chief collation officer for the presidential election for that state, who will now read out the results of that state.
All right.
As many states are available, and then just continue to wait and go.
And continue.
Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
I've told you. I was.
Let's hope it will be quicker than that.
All right. Okay.
Mind you, we are talking of about 764 local governments.
Yes.
And we are talking about 36 states and the federal capital. Even those states are not featuring governorship. We are not talking of governorship now. We are talking of general. So it's a huge tax. The inauguration just began. So journalists are going to be that collation center, because as the results are coming in, everybody wants to quickly be pushing into the wings.
Wow. So Director Marco Yakub has spoken. Remember, he also said something that the real media center when we were that's part.
So from time to time, we are going to also be seeing coming to the live broadcast to tell us, to answer some of the things we have been
talking about. Yeah, I think that's media center, which we will definitely have to respond to. All right, it's 0700-903-903-903. That is a number to call. It is important for us to keep ourselves abreast of what's going on, and that's what we're doing right here. 0700-903-903-903. The last caller who called, was one who was saying you need to hear from the INEC chair, and you heard what he said. All right. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine.
All right. Name and location, please.
This is about promotion.
Promotion. All right. Go ahead.
So spoke well. That's fine. Then I want to precisely talk on action.
All right.
That man has to be punished and come to vote.
Okay.
Because this is democracy. It's not supposed to be in that in terms of action. People are there with a degree, whatever. They don't see the opportunity. See something that cannot even write or read. See what we do up and down because of one individual candidate. This is not supposed. So this action was being on that one.
All right. Thank you.
One Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call right here. 0700 903 903 903. You can actually send us a WhatsApp message as well on 0700 903 9039. We'd like to hear from you as the analysis progresses. Again, Mr. Sharma, I'm coming back to you. So we've had repeated scenarios in this part of the world, especially when elections are close. There is this particular one, there is anticipation, there's tension, I would say, and like you would rightly say that it depends on you to be careful with how they're able to go about with things. What about the elections currently going on in some local governments? They are meant to round about 2:30.
You mean the presidential?
The presidential elections.
You know, some places the elections will continue. So as they're concluding, it's like you said, 734 local governments, 8,800 plus wards, 1,166,606 polling units. That's a huge number of locations that we're managing. So the voting and result collation, result gathering, result dissemination will take time.
Yes.
You know, so and it cannot all happen at the same time. So while in some places the elections are concluded and they're gathering votes, in some places they're still voting because they have issues yesterday. And that's the way it's going to be until the process is finished.
Imo State, I'd like to know what the current state of things is in Imo State at this time. If they were able, if the INEC officials were able to, one would say possibly because of security, possibly other staff were scared. They don't know what it would take because there were some agitators that were saying that elections will not take place in that access. And maybe that's one of the reasons why, what happened with the scenario that took place yesterday. Okay, 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. We also like you to send us WhatsApp messages on 0700 903 903 Hello.
Yeah, when people are talking about many corruption, when people are talking about innocence, it's not all part of innocence.
Okay.
As a nation, because I'm from innocence. Like my local administration, which I have in innocence.
Okay.
I spoke with them this morning. By the time I spoke with them, they made me to understand that they are in the local government trying to announce the result out there.
All right. Okay. Okay.
So maybe there are some parts in the election will not take place in every part of it. That is the truth. Now, about Mr. Oloma. When people are talking about that guy, I always laugh because he was acting on instructions. I don't know what's wrong with this country called Nigeria. Maybe some people, I can see that some people are just a scapegoat. They are untouchable. They can do anything and do it. This is majority for you. I mean, when the election is going on, when the campaign is going on, I still have that people. People made a comment. He said, I'm not sure in the Diaspora that he will do a dirty job for it. This is life ambition. That is what he said. The video is everybody hears what he said. His life ambition to do a dirty job. He said that whatever it will take you can kill, you can destroy, snap the ball, run away with it. We have to say that. And let's go also similar statement yesterday. He said that people should know, we are telling you boys that they should not worry that we have done everything human possible to do in Abuja, that we have doing his job. So that's why we are saying that we are looking at this result. So this is Mr. Obama. By now, if you have a country, if you have a place to say that this is a country, that man is supposed to be in jail by now. Because what he did yesterday, he caused a lot of trouble yesterday with his voice. He destroyed a lot of polling units. They caused a lot of violent voices yesterday. The people that what we get, please, this election is not about all grammar. It is not all about, this election is not all about grammar in different media houses. Apart from that,
we are speaking grammar.
No, it's not grammar.
It was the grammar.
Election is life and death.
No.
No. It's not a situation where we need to start promulgating fear and panic. No, it's not going to be that. It will not be that. That is not the scenario right now. Okay.
It's important that we put the word out.
Yes. It is not going to be like that.
It's not a life or death.
Yes.
There will be a thing out.
Yes.
Let him go to court. If at the court we lose it, that will be the end of the process.
Exactly.
Nigeria moves forward. Please, I think we have to be careful with the kind of rhetoric that we put out there. It's not a war. It's an election.
Which is not a process. Dispensation.
A part of the war, Nigeria happens every 4 years. So you have to work to rebrand yourself and come back and present yourself to Nigerians as well. You have to. And we have by the second of the in 2027, we have the opportunity again.
And there's something that gentleman said that we need to correct. Quoting Bola those things that he said, I listened to that. He didn't say what you have actually on box.
No.
We should start he was saying certain things that can be interpreted as interpret, but he didn't say go and put ballot box. I just wanted to say that so that we don't get
all right, so since it's very important for us, we shouldn't spread fake news. It's important. Wherever it is you are having conversations, I know that we are tensed up. We have the desired political party representative that would love to be the next president of Nigeria. We do know that. But it is also important, please, that this country, you see the people that they are doing anything for, they have money, they have kids, they will promote.
And they're
friends. They will leave now. They will leave. Me and you don't leave. We will face it. So let us try as much as possible to promote peace. And the outcome of this election, let's take it that it was meant to be. And like Mr. Sheffield said, you take it to court. I think that was basically why a lot of cases were stalled. They had to set up these judges for election tribunal because they knew a lot of cases like this were going to come up. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello,
good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. My name is
Oliver. Oliver from where?
I'm calling from my daughter.
All right, okay. You know it.
Yeah, my contribution on this is we need to invest in the no time Nigeria has been given a free and fair election 2 years. But this particular one is worse because I think the government is strategy that will make people think they know what they are doing. But at the end, let's go to 6 p.m. to get to know what's next. The only thing about this country is we are rich. Now, we should have known the situation of this country that everything about this country has to do with money. The compound now is just like the ordinary person. Because that's how to clarify the common man, ordinary person, or ordinary man. But we should tell them the truth. The youth have woke up. Everybody eyes are open. We are here to see the outcome of the whole thing. They can't just come up with something and say that this. We are just waiting. 6 p.m. That's the thing. We don't have to invest and show that is no cup of tea. We don't have to do it, so it's no cup of tea. Once the situation arises, we know we are in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Oliver, for calling. Okay, 07903-903-903. Mr. Elvis, would you say this is a time where security needs to become stronger?
Yeah, I said it earlier. Even on Thursday when we were closing this program, I was talking about post-election power. Nigerians must show it because we are not looking for. Nigeria is not looking for bad. We are looking for a leader. And now the opportunity came yesterday for us to elect a new leader. So let's embrace this. Now, results have not been declared. We are just saying INEC chairman has just addressed Nigerians. So it's too early for us to begin to.
So it's possible that most of those results on the area are not being considered?
No, on area, it's an area of official. So as much as transmitted to that is that is going to be collected and eventually get up. But the good thing about it is there is no political party that may have an agent in the polling place. And I was so happy. I thank God I saw all the political parties having their agents. And all of them were busy recording. So people have videos. They have videos, they have audio, and they have pictures. So if eventually your candidate is, you are feeling is rigged out, you can present these things. The court of law will have to look into all of this before judgment to be taken. So there are still so many windows that are open. Even after the declaration, whoever that is going to declare, there are still other windows. So let's just begin to believe that we are just begun the process and we've not gone anywhere. Only people have gone. And we are just at the police.
All right, so we're getting comments on YouTube and let me read some of the comments. So while we also take more of the calls. Cute me Sasha said, what a mess. She also said, what democracy. Somebody also said, that's Ezra Bono said, Nigeria is too big for blackhead to handle. It's better for us to, okay, I'm not going to read that. Okay, so Olayinka said, why is that Nigeria's election is always do that? And he said we can't, why can't we vote in peace? That's true. See, ask me people. Keep me, Sasha also says, unfortunately, this kind of bad behavior is deeply embedded in Nigerian society for far too long. All right. Hello. Good afternoon. All right, we lost our connection. 07903-903-903. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm in Diaspora.
All right,
Christian. This one is saying people have opportunity, a lot of all the local parties have that agent to follow you. At the end of the day, the particular person they want to go along with the party of the have to go and raise a land on the court of faith. Please, let me say that land, that is no court. By the time I say the party agent, the political party, at the end of the day, have no evidence and use them to go to court. And it's follow stuff that certain people now come to hide and kill you for your evidence.
What are you saying?
For example, I want to know somebody tells people to go home, you're not supposed to pack their party. Does it make sense? Does it if it's benefit of government, is there no benefit of the government? Why not allow people to vote who they want to vote for?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Christian. So again, Mr. Shepard, I'll come to you because I think Mr. Shepard really has a way of trying to conceptualize things. So, this question of this aspect of our voting pattern, where we have this kind of scenario, do you think ethnicity and religion is also another thing affecting our electoral process?
No, of course. Except if we want to like ourselves. Our democracy and society haven't yet matured to the point where people, the generality of the people just look for performance, and all of that. The people that are claiming to support the Lions just trying to be, the people that are claiming to support that guy based on so-called capacity and all that. Look, they are lying to themselves because the truth of the matter is the majority of them are supporting him because he's a Yoruba man. End of story. a lot of people that are supporting the other guy want some of us to support, without, I don't know, there's support. Look, the reality is that we have 3 foreigners. One is Hausa, one is Igbo, one is Yoruba. Majority of their support base is from their ethnic group. That is just our reality today. Of course, you find some people who are not, so you find some people who are non-Igbo supporting the guy. You find some people who are not supporting the other guy. But largely speaking, the largest basis of those guys are from their ethnic group. I'm checking one civil society live results website as I speak now, and you can see the patterns of the voting is validating this. So the Hausa guy is winning his core basis. Yeah, the Igbo guy is winning his core basis, and the Yoruba guy is winning his core basis. So it will now become a question of who is able to who comes second. In not to then overturn the other guy. Yeah, so the question you asked, we are not at a stage yet where we can look beyond religion for support, for the support of our candidate. It's unfortunate, and that's why I always say, and I'm always preaching that whoever wins this election has a lot of work to do. Because we're going to progress as a society, as a country. We cannot continue like that. We cannot continue to base every decision we make on ethnicity and religion and political affiliation. We have to look at what is in the best interest of the majority of the people. So God will help us.
Let's go to the Southeast. I always come to the Southeast. For example, Diaspora just said something. He said, Nigerians have shown that they want Peter Obi to be the process. If INEC dares to read that, that's what he's saying. If they dare to read the election, Nigerians should, he's saying that they should, try the travel, that something should be done with that. Otherwise, whatever it is, the Southeast and Cameroon should be granted to them. I wouldn't subscribe to Adebanjo completely by saying that majority of Nigerians actually want. A lot of people could not really say who they wanted. It was only me that just cast it. So you can't summarize and say the majority of Nigerians want a Peter Obi. But let's look at the Southeast for example. I always come back to the Southeast and say, what do you think is the problem of that region? Beyond the pride that they have been amalgamated, especially since the 1967 Civil War, ever since the post of that, the Igbos have always felt marginalized, they've always felt left out, they've always felt like they were not part of the system, in as much as the mandate was no victor, no vanquished. But one would say, do you think they are the cause of whatever it is that's currently happening with them? If we want to, analyze this particular issue from an objective perspective, considering those who have represented them.
They are not the cause. It's just that we have a country without structure.
Okay.
That's the problem. If we have a functional nation as it's supposed to be, there's nothing bad about agitation. Even within family level, you just discover that sometimes your father will say something, your son will say, and that is not supposed to be like that. That's agitation. But what happens is, at the end, both the father and the child and the children will find a way to get to a level where the matter will become an okay matter. Yeah, the Civil War came and gone. But since the end of the Civil War, how have these people, our Eastern brothers are settled? That's where the problem of an unstructured nation came in. There's nobody that is above mistake. Let's even call it whether mistake or whatever. Let me tell you what is going on with the Eastern brother. It's also going on with those of us from the South. If it was the Easterners that had the oil the way we have it, they would have also been saying that they're marginalized. You understand? It's also going on with the outside people, the so-called Northerners. You see, if we are talking about the poverty in this nation today, I want to tell you that it's even more prevalent in the northern part of Nigeria than in the south. And even the northern part has had the upper hand in having the more of leadership of this nation than the southern part of this nation. Yes. Look at what is going on. Shoshana, Orange, Pillar, Wheelbarrow, Pusha, these are no-brainer. They're talking in school. They're talking of over 100 million or whatever 20 million out of school children on the street. Let me tell you, 70% of it is from the north. So what we are saying is not really peculiar to a particular tribe, but it's just the way we interpret it. And the way we have so made us to begin to interpret it that way, that we are the problem of ourselves, so that they will begin to use that to fester this disunity among us and begin to rise up, that we will not have an eye to say this is wrong. But let me tell you, Esther, what we are seeing now is what we are seeing, that we are now beginning to know that it's just a few cliques that are holding on to this doctrine, this theory that is, tearing us apart. That's why we are now seeing a realignment. Papa didn't tell you just mention. It's not an evil one. But Papa said why he does it's because of justice and equity. Let these people also try it. We saw that the one that came to us was just by providence. Nobody thought Yarada would die. We didn't send Jonathan there to go and kill Yarada. So God knows what happened. That's why it just came to us by providence. Let me tell you, we also have just be like the golden goose that live the goose that live the golden egg. We are just seeing our oil, I mean, building skyscrapers every part of the world, but we are not part of it.
Okay, when it comes to that, someone is saying the audio is not
we are not part of it. So, what is going on in Nigeria is just that we just need a restructured nation that will function like a nation. Not one person comes in, gives his own content agenda, and as soon as he's leaving, another person comes in, the 10-point agenda he gave is gone and is gone forever. That's not how a nation is governed. There should be law, there should be
we need to speak to our technical team. The audio on YouTube is not clear. Please, can that be rectified as soon as possible? They are complaining that the audio is not clear, so let's rectify that, please. It's important that they're part of the conversation. So don't worry, they're trying to rectify what is wrong with the audio. While that is ongoing, we're updating you on the post-election analysis. So please continue.
We now we want a repair where my children will feel belong. Nobody will be asking my children, are you from a which state are you? These are things we should believe we ought to have lived beyond this. When people in there, when we are talking of the city, having the restructuring, the reconciling, and all whatever, none of them came up. So now, the youth now that say they need this nation, they need their nation to be with them, have been told their leaders of tomorrow. For so many years, I was told that when I was a student. Today, I don't know whether I pray God will give me the opportunity to still live before I go home. So, our children will not want to hear this narrative. This is why we are talking about. This is what we are talking about now. So, our Eastern brother, let everybody be thinking that, oh, we're marginalized. Nobody is marginalized. This nation has not been structured in such a way that this word marginalization will not feature in every ethnic group.
All right. What about let's look at the elites in the Southeast. Most of the representatives of either governorship or senatorial, somehow, based on how they have always tried while they left out, somehow when they came on board, they were either non-political or nonchalant or just about themselves. For example, let's look at Abia State. Look at majority of roads. Even in Imo State too, some of the roads took a long time, and even when the roads were done, you had a situation where one of those rains that fall during is just, stuck on top. So if we are trying to understand how, what they always say, they don't say adage that says, the Igbo man, they always do himself. The Igbo man, they like to his brother, succeed. They want to try to either bring the brother that if he will be the one who did it. So, when we make a comparison of the Igbo ethnic group and other ethnic groups and stuff, so if you say this man's garment is always stained black, but they will always put the fact and say he's our brother. Let us support him first, call him inside, and caution him. Why doesn't that apply?
It's a very interesting point that you make with the political elite. So what you find, this thing called marginalization that we talk about, it doesn't exist. I keep saying there is no such thing, just like you said. The marginalization we talk about is marginalization among the elites in the sharing of the Commonwealth, in dipping their hands into the kitty of the treasure. That's what marginalization is all about. Now, let me ask a question. You just said something now that people might know they want me brother. But I'm a young man and I don't think that's true. You know why I don't think it's true? Do you know that, I forgot the name they call that thing, there's this Igbo culture where the apprenticeship system.
Yes.
There is a case study in Harvard Business School on that thing, that cultural thing that the Igbo man has, the Igbo culture, where you bring your brother or your cousins or your nephew, your relatives, you bring him into your business. He learns under you for 2 or 3 years. Then when he's done, whatever the year he's doing, you set him up. There are supermarket chains in Lagos today that I know that is the model that they used to grow, and they are chains. So a lot of people don't know. You see the name of supermarket, you think it belongs to the same person. No, it is brother, his cousins. They're independent, but they share the same name and they share the same. You know, that is the Igbo culture we know. We know that Igbo people are industrious. So they say Igbo people like money. Yes, they like money because they are business-like. They are very industrious, they're very creative. The manufacturing hub in Nigeria is in Igbo land. Why are we talking about marginalization? It has nothing to do with the Igbo man. It is the Igbo politicians, the Igbo political elite
and once
marginalization and is creating that agitation among the Igbo people to use them so that he can gain access to the treasury, to the loot, and to the kitty. So, you know, we need to be smart when we're relating with these things. The narrative that the politicians put out there is completely at variance with the reality of life. We are all poor. We're all suffering. The price of fuel, this fuel scarcity we just had in that we've had since October, existed all over the country. When cash scarcity started, it's not as if the house guys had more cash and then the other people didn't have cash. It was all over the place. The inflation that we're suffering, food inflation and everything, is all over the country. Just like you said, the out of school children, poor education is fine. Guess what? Ebola is probably the most educated sector in Nigeria, followed by Yoruba. And then you have the not suffering serious nutrition issues, serious poverty issues, you know, and all of that. So this issue of marginalization is an elite thing, and we need to understand it.
I like the way you were able to contextualize this. You know, I'm bringing this up, Mr. Elvis. If you go to the bar in any of the Southeast region and they start talking about politics, if you ask them, why do you dislike this particular person who is not a good person, they will just tell you what someone else has told them, or they will relate to you the information somebody else has said them. A lot of them don't even know why they are the way they are. Some of them don't even understand the history from their own. They also grew up into a family that always preached and indoctrinated. This is how things have always been, so I expect you to hold that same life. Do you think that is also another issue that's affecting direction?
Yeah, it's just not brainwash. It is an elitist, it is created by the elites that it has to continuously remain so that they can continuously remain at oligarch. That's the problem. If we don't cut that trend, it will continue to permeate down. That's what is giving rise to all these cycles and all these things because of what they are hearing. If you actually see an Igbo man and let an Igbo man also view what his own brother from the north and from the other side of the south is going through, you will discover that there's no difference. There's practically no difference. What is just going on is that few people created this so that you and I will don't go our left and right. We were here in this nation during the time of President Jonathan when he created evangelicals or across the north. What was he trying to do? He wanted to open the eye of these street urchins in the north. They call evangelicals. That they are just using to make trouble. Today, are those schools functioning? They are not functioning. It is also the creation of the local elite that killed that system. The same way that the Eastern elite also come up with this idea of they are marginalized. The same way we saw in the people that the militant has to go to the creek and say we need our oil. As we call them, we need our oil. It belongs to us. So until we begin to remove this from the trajectory that what A is suffering in Nigeria, B is suffering in. I traveled during the first crisis. I told you I was buying a bottle of oil in my car for 359. I traveled last week. I told you that I changed 10,000 for 4,000 to get money to buy food. They collected 10,000 from me and gave me 6,000. So, is it different from what other people, even in Lagos, are suffering later? It's not different. So, we have to, as a people, come together and say enough is enough. That's where we are getting to now. Let me tell you, you don't get freedom on a platter of gold. You work for freedom. The freedom we are waiting for now, which we are talking of expecting results now, we want to wait for it. Whether we get it in 2023, let's remember that it's a struggle. That 2027 is also still here. Let this struggle, this cord, let it begin to fester. Let us begin to come closer. South Africa has it for 27 years. Somebody was in prison for 27 years before they got it. So nobody gives you freedom on a platter of gold.
Now let's look at Peter Obi. The cloud and the call for Peter Obi. It means that in this context, Peter Obi could have been anybody.
Could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody. So look at that person is not the face they are used to on the APC or the PDP. So if Peter Obi could have been a Yemi Oshibajo, you know, Peter Obi could have been a Sanusi,
yes,
you know, somewhere. But somebody that they want to
Nigerians have told Nigerians at least a little bit of one form of truth.
So what Peter Obi is for? So what he represents now is beyond the fact that he's from the Southeast. It's just that somebody who is just different from what they're used to, which could have been anyone if the person was.
And that's why it has a huge support base outside.
Exactly.
In the core north, Fulani people, not Hausa Fulani, core Fulani, because some people don't understand that there's a difference between the Hausa man
and the Fulani man.
Core Fulani people that are crazy about people, they exist. I've met them. Core Hausa people, core people from Kanuri people, before you know those people wrong, and the people in that, they are sacrificing their own money, their own time, their time to make sure that this man becomes president.
That is one thing that
he's an idea. He's an idea.
An idea. It's not a person. It's just
I am not the one contesting. You are contesting to me. You are just using it to express the desire for a change. The truth of the matter is that the agitation around this guy, that people are tired of the same old person. Look, let's put this thing in context. I've said this thing time and again. Majority of the guys that are running for office today and that hold political office today have been around for 40 years. 40 years. Like you were born 40 years ago. Is this the National Assembly guys, many of the governors, many of the presidential candidates, like Anakete, for example, goodness knows that this guy has to work. He ran for presidency in 1991. He was a candidate. Been there. So can we try somebody else? That's what Peter Obi is all about. So
that to be clarified.
Yes, let me also tell you. 1993, the same president today came in as a head of state, a military head of state. Some of us were already far advanced in secondary school when he came in. Today, he has come back to rule me and rule my children. If care is not taken, he will rule my grandchildren. So this is what we are now saying. Enough is enough.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Name and location, please.
Okay, I'm calling you from Ejigbo.
Ejigbo, what's your name?
My name is Mr. Obiwanne Omunakwe.
Mr. Obiwanne, please go ahead.
I really been trying so hard to get back to you. I want to tell you, I like what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Very well. And the politics in Nigeria is actually very much of ethnicity, and it's so painful. And the majority of people who have been calling from Okota Aziz, Oshodi Aziz, complaining of all these things, is actually them that are inciting it. I have actually been in various groups, and I've been posting it. Why will you go to a polling station and be mentioning who you want to vote for? It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Vote and leave the place. And then if you are to allow all those kind of things, it causes all these kinds of issues. You know, now I think that this election comes out successful. The best politician should win. It's fine and good, and that's what Nigeria will need to do. I like what one of the commentators is saying. We are always affiliated to entity. It's wrong. If any of the party aspirants is coming with a vision to transform Nigeria for the good of people, we should, whether Igbo or Yoruba, anybody, we should vote for that person. You know, particularly an APC guy, and in my area, I make sure that I tell them this is what is going on. I prefer this candidate because he has structures. He can do this, he can do that. He has done it before.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. You can actually send us a WhatsApp message on 0700 903 9039. 0700 903 9039. I see a couple of people trying to call via WhatsApp. Those are those monitoring us on YouTube, our international community members who want to be part of the conversation. You can send a WhatsApp message. That's the truth, okay? Hello? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, I say you guys are doing very good there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, after the guy, the two or the three guys are there talking. My husband is talking tears. That they know very well.
Yes, they're very intelligent and experienced. Thank you.
All right, then having said that, yesterday I told you. I've called before.
Yes, I know.
NECA. Yesterday I told you. As I was telling you, it was terrible. For no more saying that this election is disloyalty, we do dirty things, we do nasty things, this and that. We know, I've been living in Oshodi for the past 21 years. I know him very well. I know when he was, as a young graduate when I came to Lagos, I know when he was collecting 20 naira from Decoria, Roroni. Yes, now.
Nick, how old are you?
Anybody.
Wow.
I'm above 50.
Wow, I see your voice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Go
yes,
ahead,
I'm about
please.
50.
Wow.
Yes, so my dear, that he do nothing. He has been doing nothing since for a long time. All that people forget so soon. He has been doing nothing since in elections. That's why they called him in to compensate him with being the chairman of Lagos State Drivers Association.
Parks and garages.
He started doing nothing right from Social Williams Bolaike. Let me stop there.
Wow. All right, thank you, Neka. Thank you so much. Thank you. See Neka's voice, very light. And but MC Olomo's kids, if you see them, so clean. It's almost like they're not even part of the system.
No, they can never. This is what we are talking about. That is just you. Even the so-called MC Olomo is mentioning now. If this cabal that held us down, we are not behind him. By now, he would have also been the change person. They specifically made people to be like that so that they can be at their beck and call. Anytime they say, "Okay, it's our person," they create an office that is originally that they know that you cannot manage, but they give it to you like a favor. So anytime they now call you, you must answer them, because that's why you see you'll be hearing some kind of paramount ruler going to court because they say he's not the right person that's supposed to be at that position. Is this supposed to be done in that form? So they just give it to you to favor you so that anytime they need you, you cannot say no. Now, those are the freedom we are preaching, that we need to be freed. This strangulation is too much. Until we are relieved of all this, you know your position, you rightly earn it. Nobody can come and jeopardize it and tell you that it was not for you. Because you rightly earn it, you can defend it. And by the time you are defending it with a lot of people who knows that you are the rightful person that belongs to that position. So you have your office, intact. Not somebody coming to impose an office, giving you an office and impose it on people.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Mommy Amaka from Ayobo.
Mommy Amaka, how is Ayobo today?
Fine.
All right, go ahead.
Yesterday, our vote. We thank God, Sha. Our own is at Amule, Isoko, phase 2. We did it successful.
All right.
But there's nothing like Aburu disturb.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
But the only thing there, After we voted finish, we counted it. INEC refused to download it inside BVAS. We say, put it inside BVAS now. They begin to do wulu. Small time. All of a sudden, they say, no network. Order from above. They say we should come office. After that's the office now. That's a primary school. After Anko University. Salvation, Army Salvation.
Okay.
He said that place is their head office. And they say order from above. They should carry it, come to that place. We struggle, we did not agree. We fight, struggle. No way. Last. One of, because LP, Labour don't have any representative.
For
Only
senatorial. For senatorial. Go ahead,
only one person just devoted himself to represent. So some boys with that boy, they can't follow them. Go that
their
place. Office. We don't know. I mean, without that, I don't know whether how they can do it. That INEC, some of them, even police people, they're not doing well. Even I did not see any army. No army. INEC, some of the INEC people, they're not good though.
Okay.
They're not good.
All right,
after
thank you,
counting, After counting, they're not happy what they counted.
Okay. Thank you, Mami Amaka. Thank you very much. All right. We need to round up this particular session. I think by 4 p.m., Precious and another team would have to come on board. But here is the thing, Mr. Shegun. If we are talking, for example, INEC has said that by 6 p.m., we're going to definitely start hearing the results. Please, what would you advise Nigerians to do now?
Nigerians have voted. Their job, the job of any citizen in a democracy is to vote and protect your vote. Make sure it gets counted.
Yes.
Once you've done that, you go home, sit down, and obey the law. Be a law-abiding citizen. From this point on, results are being collated. They will be announced. When the results are announced, if you are not happy with it, express your disapproval within the context of the law. You do not. So my own advice to Nigerians now, because I know, I can see all the energy, I can see the enthusiasm, and all of that. The only duty we have now is to be law-abiding citizens. You cannot take the law into your hands. You can't enter the street and start breaking things. You can't start destroying things. You can't start threatening other people. Be a law-abiding citizen. Express your disapproval to your people, your party, or whatever you support, so that they can then go to court. Hopefully, the results will express the wish of the majority of the people. They can never express the wish of everybody. Because there are 4 candidates and they all have their supporters.
But we have more than 4 candidates actually. It's
there
just
are 4 major candidates. The others are, I'm sorry, I apologize to them. Some of them are even my friends, but they're just making up the numbers. And that's just the truth. I even advised them in the earlier part of this whole process, come together, form a coalition so that you can be stronger together, pull all your resources, pull all your supporters. They refused. They wanted to go it alone. There are only 4 major candidates. And even the 4 major candidates, there are only 3.
He's not missing words.
Let's be honest to ourselves, Daddy.
Mr. Elvis, I'll call to you. Let's take this call, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, 0700 903 903. Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
My name is XYZ.
XYZ. Night don't reach for your side.
Sorry?
Say evening don't reach for your side.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just say 1 or 2 things about this our election of 18.
Okay.
Yesterday, within my area, we have some free fair.
What axis is that?
That's Ojo area.
Okay.
So no much, but some areas are complaining about INEC not coming on time.
Okay.
On my own polling unit, before 9 o'clock, I have cast my vote. So when they accredit you, immediately you vote.
All right.
I'm going by what I'm seeing online. You understand me? Like the one in Apapa. I don't know if you've seen that trending video. Why the result is being tipped and the man is changing the result.
We mentioned
I
it here.
thought, and again, not the long I joined people. And again, I thought this election was supposed to be an electronic election, whereby the moment you are voting is counting. We still go back to the election of 2019, whereby after voting it, you take it to collation center. That is the only place Nigeria is having issue. That is the place things are turning out. That's the place where people are being rigged out. I am telling you, I am not comfortable with it. And this case not taking. The youth will take the bull by the horn.
No, they shouldn't. We don't want to. We don't want to fall out of NSAS.
Okay. I withdraw that statement. Now, you see, the Labour Party is calling for cancellation of election results in Rivers State. I just saw that right now in my phone news and other things. And people have been beaten up, people have been marginalized. Where are the armies? Where are the EFCC? Where are the police? Now, there was another training video I saw. Police and some INEC officers are inside school completing voting. Well, these are people who are meant to protect you and I. These are people who always cry. Most people that are doing all this kind of thing, at the end of the day, you see them crying most. Why people who voted positively will receive positive things. Why people who voted negatively? Negative things will always come to them. Now look at what they active in this country. People will figure out. Obi as a person, I'm an Igbo man. I am not supposed to be as because Obi is an Igbo man. I am supposed to be because Obi has what it takes to pilot this affair, and not just for him. He is contesting for us. He said he is doing it for us. That we are contesting through him. You understand me? Now we need a revolution in this country. We need a young youth.
All right, Mr. Thank you so much. We need to take all that calls. Okay, thank you. Right. So we can hear the passionate response, but here is the thing, though. There's something I took out of it. The introduction of the BVAS was meant to dissuade that whole manual process. So financial money was spent on that particular system. Does it mean now that money that was spent the use is not it? Because eventually we're doing what we used to do before.
Esther, be praying that you don't fall into the hand of politicians. They always calculate ahead. They gave BVAS, yes, because we're yearning for. We're talking about discarding card reader, but they did not give it completely. That even the transmission, where no human being will not be involved in collation. That was supposed to be part of what was supposed to be in that electoral act. But they tactically removed that so that human manipulation can still come in and get BVAS as like a signboard to us. Read this signboard. By the time you get we read it. By the time you now get into the office of the signboard that is so glittering outside, you now waiting you see now your own. That was all happened there. It's just like what we are seeing now. After they will tell you constitutional amendment everywhere, it will say, people's opinion and gather everything. At the end of the day, the one that suits them is the one they will tell you they passed in the house, they amended. The one that suits the people, they will kill it. They kill it in such a way that, because look at the local government autonomous bill that was part of this amendment. Did it not die?
It did.
It didn't fly because they know too well that is where the governors are making the money. So they always give you one thing with their right hand and begin to use their left immediately to withdraw it. That's where we should begin to follow them closely. The human being coming into this collation at a certain point ought not to be part. It was not part of what.
It was not part exactly.
The electoral bill was supposed to be, but they brought it in such a way that when it gets to that level, TPEX start coming in. Some other things.
Can you imagine? It's the TPEX thing that is
the only protection that BVAS and this new system introduced somehow is that there is an easier way to collect evidence when you want to go to court. That's why overvoting was easily
to detect
in Osun. So that's the only protection. The fact that the number of voters accredited is being sent automatically. There is no manual intervention in that one. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 voters registered at a particular polling unit and only 300 people showed up, only those 300 are accredited with the machine. And that number is sent to the server automatically.
So if it's more than that, then it means
the number of votes is more, then it's overvoting. So the total number of accredited voters, when you gather it all together, will give you an idea of what. So it makes it a bit more difficult for the politicians to write election results, but they can still do it.
They can still do it.
Yeah, of course, and we're seeing them doing it now. They're doing it right now. So for me, I just want to say that at the end of the day, we are running away from it. People are saying we're not ready. The only solution, and it's not even a solution in its entirety, but the only solution to rigging in this country is electronic voting. BVAS has the capacity to capture thumbprints per ballot, but they're not using it. So even if it doesn't, we urge INEC. INEC had tested electronic voting machines in the last 4 years. They considered deploying it, but they felt it was too soon. 2027, we can't do this nonsense we're doing right now. Do you know that the results that when we say electronic transmission of results as provided by the Electoral Act, do you know that it's the electoral officer, the presiding officer at the polling unit that will still type the results for each party?
And it's not meant to be so. It's not meant to be so.
It's still manual input. So what have we really achieved?
It ought to be on the machine automatically. It just collates and then it goes.
There's no way for that to happen except the electorates are actually selecting the parties by themselves with their thumbs. That's the only way. So it's electronic voting. That's where we have to get to. So we have to have an Electoral Act 2023 or 2024 that provides expressly for electronic voting.
From what we have observed in this election.
It's just one more step. We're almost there. It's just one more step now.
Exactly.
And we do electronic voting.
That's why I said the freedom is a continuous thing.
Exactly.
We must not relent. Before 2027, those anomalies we are seeing, let's note them. We are going to come back with them and begin to media, as we always do, have a big role. Let's begin to sing it into the incoming government that we don't need this thing that happened in 2023 to happen in 2027.
Again. All right, so I'm going to read this final comment. I hope the United States and the United Kingdom are watching as they claim they should make sure none of these politicians and their children should not be allowed to travel out of the country. They already gave visa.
Better than Nigeria.
It's not be the way we treat ourselves.
Okay, so we have some WhatsApp messages. Let's take them before we round off. PDP and APC is the same system. Let us just pray that things are done properly. Thank you so much for that particular reaction. Good afternoon, Esther. I disagree with the two gentlemen. Just look at what is going on in this election and you will see a lot of reason why the people of the Southeast and some Yorubas are agitating. Okay, thank you very much for that particular comment. And so this is from Olawale. He says, our democracy will grow and give us the desired results once we do away with ethnicity, because that is what we have. Okay. Once we do away with ethnicity, because that is what the politicians are using to divide us. What do we want in Nigeria? A leader that will correct the past errors and set things right for others to follow. Our focus should be this and not allow the politicians to distract us. I am a Yoruba guy, and to me, it is whoever that will make the difference, no matter where the person is from, as long as he is a Nigerian. Thank you so far, Mr. Olawale. That was aptly put. Thank you so much. So we are rounding up this particular session. I do hope that you continue to stay with us. You know, the analysis still continues right here. We have not started with the vote count. So even today, tomorrow morning, from our front page review, our news, and other programs, to keep on updating you. Thank you, Mr. Elvis Elimihele, for coming this afternoon.
Thank you,
I really appreciate you. Mr. Shagu Shokpiton, thank you so much. Remember, I told Mary, I said, this man. Yes, thank you so much for you guys being part of the conversation this afternoon. I can see some of your calls are still coming in, but don't worry. The analysis still continues. Pressures will be coming in by 4 and will continue from there up until 7 p.m. So you just stay glued to Voice of the People 90.3 FM while we give you more contents right on here and continue to provide the necessary information to you. Do have yourself a wonderful Sunday. Remember to be patient, stay calm. I beg of you, do not get in any heated conversation. All right? Don't worry, things will get better for us. Do have a wonderful Sunday.
This is the station that gives you a voice.